Morning everybody, and I'd like to open the meeting at 9:03. But before I start, I would like to say thank you to the councillors. I know every one of you at this table volunteer. So it's been all about Volunteer Week, and we've been around our region and had some great conversations with our volunteers. So I would like to thank you for all that you volunteer. And Rob, I'd like you to pass on to the staff. They did an amazing job. We've had a really nice 2.5 days, whatever it is. Can't remember where we had breakfast, lunch or dinner, but so if you could just pass on to the staff that we really appreciate the effort that they've done for volunteers this week. Thank you. All right, on that note, could somebody do the minutes of the ordinary meeting on the 7th of May 2026? Councillor Brompton.
I move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 7th of May 2026 be confirmed.
Seconded by Councillor Davis. All those in favour? And everybody's in the room today too. Nice. 9-0. Thank you. And now I'd like to just adjourn for a little bit and we'll be back. Thank you. At 9:05. I'll reopen the meeting at 9:33 and thank you all. 10.1 upcoming deputation and briefing topics. Council briefings June 2026. Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I'd like to declare a conflict of interest for item 10.1, upcoming deputations and briefing topics, councillor briefings, June 2026. The declaring councillor is myself, Amber Davis. The person with the interest is myself and my husband, Wayne Davis. The particulars are that we own and operate Bessie's Ice Cream Bus and we're a food vendor. We were a food vendor at the Harmony Week celebration. It's a declarable conflict of interest. Although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the discussion.
Somebody got words? Councillor Brompton.
I move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Davis participates and votes on agenda item 10.1 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Seconder. Councillor Vincent, all those in favour? 8-0. 10.1, back to that. Upcoming deputation of briefing topics, council briefings June 2026. Do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move the council one receive and note the officer's report as presented and
That's it. Seconder. Councillor Burkett, would you like to speak, councillor? Anyone like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 13.1 Maranoa Regional Youth Council Terms of Reference. Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move that Council 1 adopts the term of reference for the Maranoa Regional Youth Council with the following amendment. Meetings will be held once every term of the school year. 2, endorses the commencement of stakeholder engagement with regional school principals to support the establishment of Maranoa Regional Youth Council.
Have a seconder? Councillor Vincent. Does anyone have any questions? Councillor O'Neill.
I'd like to move an amendment. I'd like to move that the council amend the terms of reference under section 5 to the wording that it says the Maranoa Regional Youth Council leadership team will consist of a youth mayor and the rest of what's written there, and a youth deputy mayor and the rest of what's written there.
Does Councillor Burkett?
Oh, yeah, 4
And that be reflected in the
membership throughout the report.
well, that would happen.
If that happens, the rest would happen. Are you happy with that?
And, sorry, I moved those changes and it be updated in the rest of the document.
To reflect that.
It's academic, that's going to happen. I'll leave it as is.
Councillor
Yeah,
Burkett.
I'm happy with the amendment.
Seconder, Councillor Vincent.
No, I'm happy with it to be a chairperson.
Yeah, see, now I don't know what I have to do now.
So, well, the moving and then second, Councillor Burkett on his own could second the amendment that I put forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll second the
Happy
amendment.
to do that, okay. So that takes Councillor Vincent out of the mix
For the moment.
Okay.
5 beyond.
Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yeah, thanks very much, Mayor. I'm really excited by the concept of a youth council. I know that this has come about from presentations that we've seen attending the LGAQ conferences in the previous term, where there have been councils across the state that have successfully introduced the youth council, and it has really increased the involvement of the next generation into the overall decision making of the council, and feeding into the elected representatives of that particular region. Obviously, our neighbours to the far west, Blackhall and Blackhall-Hembrow Regional Council, have introduced this more recently, and from all reports, it seems to be running quite successfully as well. We talk about the need to engage with our, the next generation of our community, inspiring them to take on leadership roles, to volunteer in a Maranoa context. Of course, as I've shared in this room previously, as the prior to this term, the last 3 terms I was the youngest councillor. It's great to have younger people than me on council now, and we need to see that continue as a council and as a community, that we inspire the younger generation to see civic leadership as a way to shape their community. And so I'm excited about the concept of the youth council, and because we're calling it the Maranoa Youth Council, I think it would be fitting that we have a youth mayor and a youth deputy mayor in the structure, the governance structure of the youth council. And we're not going to be trendsetters here. This is already occurring in other local governments across Queensland that call it a youth mayor and a youth deputy mayor, and I think it would be appropriate for us to amend the terms of reference today to include those titles in the leadership structure and the governance of our youth council.
Thank you. Anyone like to speak against? Councillor Vincent.
Yeah, I'll speak against this one today. I just feel that the mayor is a position of importance within our community. I don't think it needs to be replicated in the youth council. I know other councils do have a youth mayor. We don't have to be like every other council and have a youth mayor. This is just to bring these young people into what happens in council, give them some experience. I just feel that the chairperson and deputy chairperson would be sufficient for these roles.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak for? Councillor Burke?
Yeah, I think this is a great initiative, the whole concept. I witnessed this firsthand back in Baringa days. We had a youth council and it worked really well. I think it's a great way to start. If you look through the objectives, I think it's a great thing. Educate young people about local government. Like Councillor O'Neill said, we need that next lot of people to come through to take over from us oldies and provide a structured youth voice and advocate for the development and delivery of initiatives. So I think there's some really key points. In regards to the mayor, I think the kids would get a bit of a buzz out of it with the schools coming in and witnessing how we run our meetings. I think they'd aspire to be a mayor one day. And previously, it used to be the chairman of a shire. So things evolve, and I think we have presidents of clubs, we have chair people of clubs. So I think mayor just puts them up to that Maranoa level. So I think it's a great initiative.
When they were a youth in Baringa, were they a mayor?
No, not back then. They were chair because the chair was back. There was no mayors back then.
Yeah. Okay. Against? Councillor Hancock.
I would like to speak against, but I just want to clarify, Mayor, I actually have some other changes in the terms of reference. I'm just wondering, at the moment, we're just debating on whether we're changing that one, and then we'll go back to talking about the whole thing. Am I right? Yep, so this is just about that before I put up the other changes.
Well, it's all I've moved is that amendment.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure. I understand the concept behind the calling the leaders mayor and deputy, but I too think that that name's pretty important, and I think that people, the process to get to a mayor in our electorate is that the people vote and they put them forward, and I think it's a really important decision, and it's not the same process that we're going to do with our youth leaders. I think that a chairperson is appropriate because yes, we're trying to engage our youth and show them how local government works, but we're also trying to encourage them in that volunteering space where they get to see how to lead a meeting. And so, you know, to be honest, they'll probably be a chairperson or a president or a secretary before they become a mayor. I think teaching them how to do that first so that one day they might aspire to be able to stand for mayor, I think that's important, because then they haven't already had that experience, but they might aspire to have that because of what we're going to open them up to and what they're going to see through this process. I think that that it's not the same process. And so just for me, I am happy with chairperson as their position in this, because I think that it is a different process to become a mayor, and it is important that that process is what they're seeing.
Gonna say I feel a bit important right now. Anyone else want to speak for? Councillor Davis.
Oh, it is such a little thing that we are debating, isn't it? Like it won't change what the leader of the youth council will be doing, or the deputy leader. So I just think it is Maranoa Regional Council, Youth Council. It should be the Maranoa Youth Mayor, Maranoa Youth Deputy. And it isn't. This is just baby steps. This isn't that we're going to go out and ask the community to vote on anything. It's going to be an expression of interest. It's all about really just giving them a bit of an inside look at council. They're going to be supported by staff, I think, and you know the mayor will be elected by the other youth council. The youth mayor will be elected by the other youth councillors. I do think it's important because it is that level of expectation, and you have more jobs than we do as councillors. So I just think it's important to provide that consistency through local government and what we are hoping to aspire these young leaders to be.
Thank you. Anyone else against? Councillor Brompton.
For the same reasons I said, rather, I mean, I think the Youth Council is a really great idea, but in Queensland our mayors are elected, and I think I'd like to see that point of difference, and that the youth can be chairs and deputy chairs and still have the same experience. I know it's only semantics, and I sort of agree with that as well, but I think just on the basis of the importance of mayor, as Councillor Vincent started, I would like just to see a difference, a point of difference.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak for? Would you like to sum up, Councillor?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Tomato. It is semantics. The overall concept is what we, I'm sure will get supported today in terms of youth council. This is our initiative. Yes, we've seen it rolled out in other local councils, but we're going to run this. We're going to support it. It'll be the staff. It'll be the elected representatives supporting the youth council. As one of the two people that hold, the mayoral, as in Councillor Taylor, and deputy mayor for myself, this isn't going to diminish my role as deputy mayor to have a youth deputy mayor role within the youth council. I'm all about inspiring the next generation to take on leadership roles. We spoke about it this morning in terms of volunteers, as we have over the last few days right across the region. I think if this is a step that we can take to inspire a generation that probably isn't that interested in government in a general sense, and we have the ability to influence at a local level that interest, then I think this is a really good vehicle, and having the positions within the leadership structure of the Youth Council mirror somewhat as to what ours are. I think that would be a positive thing, and I think it'd be pretty special for someone to hold the role of a youth mayor and youth deputy mayor, as well as the other council members of the Youth Council, and I strongly urge councils to support the amendment.
On that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? Against? 4, 5. Lost. Yes.
Back to the original.
Back to the original. Councillor Hancock, did you have a question?
I do have a couple of questions. I'm sorry, Councillor Burkett, if you mentioned it, but I can't remember, sorry. Just with the formal meetings, did you say that? It's in there, right, perfect. Just the other thing I was going to ask, I'm sure I've read somewhere here, but I just can't find it. Do we have a quorum for meetings?
I don't think we do have mentioned.
I must have read it in, I've been researching, I must have read it in someone else's. That's okay then, because then that doesn't matter that the minimum is 7. I was just, if it's going to be half, I was just going to say maybe we should have a even number. The other one I just want to raise, and I'm sure it'll come out. I love the fact that it says in point 6, youth councils are expected to attend one official Maranoa Regional Council meeting within the first 3 months of their term. I think that's a great point. But I also acknowledge somewhere over here that there'll be training or induction, and I was just wondering, wouldn't that be nice to be something that we do with them straight up, so they actually, rather than just expecting them to come and sit in, it would be probably something that we could organise as a part of an induction or a first up. So it's probably more of a point of how that might work on the ground than an amendment to it. And if we don't have a quorum, well, then I'm happy from the 7 to 10 across the region.
Anyone else got questions? Councillor Burker, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I've probably touched on a lot of it before.
Sorry, Councillor Burke, I've got
sorry.
it's not a question. It's a very good point that Councillor Hancock raises. We should have a quorum listed in there. You've got a minimum of 7 and 10 members. That's fine. If we only get to 7, we need a quorum of half. Half plus 1. If we're going to teach the next generation in terms of appropriate governance structures to meetings, and a quorum of half plus 1 would be.
And that is in any meeting, so that there's a quorum.
All good?
Yeah, I'm happy with
Would you
that.
like to sum up?
So we're just going to add,
So I'll move that we include a quorum. Dot point under meetings. That would be half plus 1.
Is that half of 7 or half of
Half
10?
10.
Well, the minimum is 7.
Minimum 7, we've got maximum 10, then it'll be, depending on how many members we've got, it'll be half plus 1.
So if it was 7,
Well,
it's like
it
3.4.
happens all the time when you've got an odd numbered committee, yeah.
Right. Councillor Burkett.
Yeah, well, that's just going to come into my motion now, isn't
Well,
it?
if you
you're
accept
happy.
it.
Yeah, I've already accepted, yeah.
And I'm happy to accept.
You're all good? So would anyone like to speak?
Are we back on a clear slate now, are we?
Has Councillor Burkett spoken to the first?
No.
That was for the
No.
amendment.
Yeah.
Speak again.
Speak.
Yeah. Like I said, I have touched on a few of the points, and I do think this is a great initiative, and I think it's really well put together. I applaud the staff for that. I know my nephew, he thinks we're all Superman. He's in grade 4. He thinks we can solve everything. I think he's in for a rude shock sometimes, but he's St John's are down to come to one of our meetings next month, so he'd be one in a few years that definitely put his hand up for this. So there is kids in the community that hopefully won't get stale on that idea, but I do think for that age group, high school area, 11 and 12, would be a good stepping stone for moving forward. So no, I'm really supportive of this initiative, and I'm in support of all the changes we've made. So yeah, no, all good.
Councillor Vincent, would you like to speak?
I'll speak for. I think this is a fabulous initiative. Thank you so much to Councillor O'Neill, who first put the first motion to the table. There's so many skills to be learnt here, and lots of skills that we need out into our community with running of meetings, and just to get a big picture look at what council actually does. Maybe the video of today's debate could be shown at the induction for these kids. So it was a good debate around the table. So I fully support this initiative, and thank you to the staff for the work they've done.
Anyone like to speak against? Anyone else like to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. I probably said everything I really wanted to say earlier. We'll have this in place for what will be the last 12 months of our term, which is great. We've got it off the ground, and the support there is definitely support around the room to make this happen. I'd like to see this embedded in for terms and terms to come. I think if we've got a vehicle to be able to help inspire our community, that next generation coming through, we already know there are a few out there. We've got community members locally that are going to represent us at the Youth Australian Parliament and the Queensland Youth Parliament as well. And we'll have more to say about that in the near future as well. But we've got some inspiring leaders here, and I think if we can take a step in putting a vehicle in place to support them, then I think that's a really good thing. I hope that we can see this type of initiative rolled out in service clubs and other organisations across the region, because I think they too need to have vehicles to really encourage that next generation through. And if we can be leaders in that space, then that's a really positive thing for the Maranoa community in the long run. I think we, as a council, laws around the table, the elected representatives, we need real buy-in to this. It is only going to work if we make it work as well. We need to encourage the initiatives that will come via this particular youth council. We've already got solid examples of younger people in our community writing to council and things coming to fruition, and the pump track is a clear example of that in Roma. And so I'm pretty excited about this, and I hope the schools across the region jump on board and tap students in their cohort to apply to be part of the youth council. But again, that will fall to us to really champion this through our individual geographical communities, as well as the Maranoa more broadly. So it looks like this is going in the right direction, not entirely in the right direction, but I'll move on from that in a couple of weeks. But more broadly, the terms of reference and just setting up the youth council, the decision today will make sure that it's in place for next year. And so welcome councillors' support on it.
We know you're not precious. Councillor Davis, did you want to speak?
Oh, yes, just quickly. I remember coming into the council as 2 years ago and discussing this with Councillor O'Neill, and I'm really happy to support it today. I think it is a really good step in the right direction after representing online's Youth of the Year. We have some really good leaders in our community and the stuff that they do, and I think this will only exemplify that. I don't pretend to have all the answers for every community member sitting around this table, so it will be really good to get youth buying in what we have as our Youth Week activity programs and what they'd like to see, and future planning, because that's why we're all here, for that strategic vision. So fully support this today. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hancock.
Yeah, I too would like to put my voice to this, because I think our youth are important. We all acknowledge it around this table. I do want to acknowledge Councillor O'Neill's champion of this. It has been on his radar for many years now, and thank him for bringing it to the table, and it's great to see it here today. For me, I agree with what's been said around the table about how great this is going to be. It's also, going to encourage, hopefully, some volunteering in our community as well. But I also just want to encourage our youth right around the region to get on board with this. Where you live in the region should not stop you from putting your name forward. And I think I'm with Councillor O'Neill that we can help champion that. And if we can help our staff reach out and to the principals and to community groups around the region to, if there is that certain youth in those regional towns as well that would love to be able to put their hand up but think that it's where they live is going to be an issue to be able to make it to meetings, I am sure we can work around that. So I just really want to encourage those youth to not see that as a barrier, to actually reach out and see how we can assist, so that we, like we have around the table now, that the community elected, we have councillors from right across our region. We would love to see that we will have youth representatives on our youth council right across the region.
Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up,
Yeah, just,
councillor?
I think it's all been covered, but it is fitting that it's in, like, youth is going to be one of our major weeks we look after each year as a youth week. I went to a Rotary information night the other night, and it was a lot about getting people to join Rotary, but also targeting the youth. My son went to the Rotary camp at Lake Perseverance, and he was a bit hesitant going, but it was the best thing he's ever experienced, and it opened up a new way, new avenues, and they taught him so much as a person. I think this will be the same. If they get into these type situations, they'll learn so much more and probably choose a path in life that they never thought they would before. But I think one thing we probably could do, it can evolve this over time, and I think we can update the terms of reference. It's nothing for them to, if they're only having 4 meetings a year, to throw in a special meeting every now and again, like whether it's on Zoom. I think that we can have that flexibility to give them a bit more power to not just wait for that quarterly meeting, that they can say, oh, I've got some important things we want to sort out now. So, no, I think it's a stepping stone, but I think it's got a bright future, so definitely supportive.
Thank you. You right? All right, with that, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Thank you all very much. Oh, you're still sitting there. You must have more. Just stay there. 13.2, endorsement of the Events Assistance Program Round 2, 2025-2026. Councillor
I've got a
Hancock.
conflict.
Oh, you got, sorry, Jane, a conflict. Sorry, Councillor Vincent.
I'd like to declare a conflict of interest on 13.2, endorsement of the Events Assistance Program Round 2, 2025-2026. Declaring councillor is myself, Councillor Jane Vincent. Person with interest is myself. Particulars of interest, my mother Janice Humphreys is Secretary of CHIPS and personal friend Matthew Biggood is Vice President of the In-June Race Club. Both organisations have an application for endorsement. It's a prescribed conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Thank you. Councillor Flynn.
Yeah, I'd like to declare a conflict of interest on item 13.2, the endorsement of the Events Assistance Program Round 2, 2025-26. The declaring councillor is myself, Peter Flynn. Person with interest is myself. The particulars of interest, In-June Race Club is named in the beneficiary organisations, and I have a contract to provide race calling services to that club. A conflict is declarable, and I will leave the room while the matter is being voted on.
Thank you. Councillor Hancock.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move, I think it's a procedural motion. I'd like to move that we separate, that we vote on points 1 and 2 together, and then we vote on point 3 separately, because noting that the two councillors have conflicts on the first point, on point 1 and 2, and the third point is they don't have conflicts on, and it's and I believe it would be a value that they could be part of point 3.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that? Do I need a seconder?
Do we need a
for that?
second for a procedural?
Yeah, you do on this one. Yep.
Yeah, someone to second that? Councillor Searoyd? So those two can't vote?
No.
Yes, okay, so. do
On
I-
this.
On a procedural motion.
Can they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So you don't want to speak? No?
No,
No,
thanks.
let's go to the vote on that. All those in favour? You can vote on this one, Pete.
Whether we can
It's to allow that.
just...
No, I'm against it.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all those in favour? Against? 8-1, okay. So we'll ask you two to leave the room for 1 and 2. Councillor Vincent and Councillor Flynn have left the room. Councillor Hancock.
I move that Council 1, endorse the assessment panel's recommendations and approve the following round 2 events assistance program applications for payment. Creative In-June for Australia's biggest morning tea for $500. Chips for In-June for $500. And In-June Race Club for the annual race meet for $1,000, being a total of $2,000. Number 2, draw associated funds of $2,000 from the Events Assistant GL 2887.2251.2001.
Seconder. Councillor Brumpton, would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. Once again, it's great to see, In-June has put in lots of applications for for this round of the events assistant. And it's great to see that we can put them forward today and support them in a small way to be able to put these events on for their committee.
I just have a question.
Kel, why have you crossed out in June Race Club? Sorry. It's in there, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Councillor Davis?
Can I just ask, what was the application for the biggest morning tea in June?
Through the chair, it was to go towards, they're doing a cooking demonstration, so it was go towards the cooking demonstration.
Okay. Yep. So the presenter and materials? Yep. Thank you.
And sorry, can I add to that? They were very explicit in their application to say the donations to Cancer Council was separate to what they were requesting for these funds.
Anyone else got a question? Councillor Brompton?
I know that begonia is going to be asked to talk about in item 3, but I was just wondering with the art workshop, was our idea for source of funding that?
Well, we've moved to discuss that in the next point.
When we get to point 3.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyone else got any questions? We'll go you want to sum up, councillor? You're good? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 7-0.
It's your job, Mayor. It's your job.
Councillor Vincent and Councillor Flynn are back in the room for item number 3. Councillor Hancock?
I move that council approve the following funding from GL 2887.2251.2001 as part of round 2 of the Events Assistant Program. A, allocate $1,000 to Begonia Golf and Sports Club for an art workshop. B, allocate $500 each to 12 recognised community groups to acknowledge their volunteer efforts as part of National Volunteer Week 2026 in each of the following small locations across the region: Noongar, Jackson, Tilbar, Begonia, Dunkeld, Mangalala, Amby, Muckadilla, Hodson, Umamaran, Bymount and Roughly.
Have a seconder? Councillor Vincent. Anyone got it? Yes, Councillor
Got a
O'Neill.
question. Just in terms of that point B, who's identifying the recognised community groups?
Our staff.
All right.
I just know that there's in some of these communities there's more than one. So
That's right.
It could get very political.
Do you want to name them?
I just think that should come back here so the staff aren't the ones who are making that decision.
Or do you want to name them now? Do you want to lay this on the table too later in the meeting and come back to it so that we
Name
can,
them.
With the list,
with the list and name them?
I'll move we lay this on the table to later in the meeting.
All those in favour?
And we can do that because it's only point 2, isn't it, now that I've split it?
Yeah.
That's okay.
All those in favour of laying on the table till later in the meeting? 9-0.
That's the very reason I didn't vote for it.
Yeah, if you
13.3, development application, material change of use, warehouse, self-storage facility, 63 to 65 Hawthorn Street, Roma, reference 2026/21671. Do I have a mover? Councillor Flynn.
I move that the development application for a material change of use, warehouse, self-storage facility located at 6365 Hawthorn Street, described as Lot 30 on R8627, be approved subject to the listed conditions and general advice.
Seconder, Councillor Burkett. Anyone got any questions? Councillor Brompton.
It's a small question, but you know how we've asked them to put gardens on there. How does that work with the fact that it's the contaminated land? That's not in conflict with that? if you can't disturb, how do the gardens meet that? I mean, I'm all for gardens, but I was just wondering how that actually meets that requirement.
Raised beds. What do you mean?
Yeah, through you, Mayor, the land isn't actually contaminated anymore. It's been remediated, but the state still class it as potentially having some level of contamination, a low level. So they restrict what can be done on the site. I don't believe there's any concerns or issues in relation to establishing a small amount of landscaping. The state's more concerned about it being used for residential purposes and having a large open yard space. Yeah,
It's just containers going on this.
containers and a couple of shed structures.
The applicants tend to go upwards in terms of their gardens based on their other sites as well. So, yeah, but it's a good point.
Yeah, anyone else got questions? No? Do you want to speak to it, Councillor Flynn?
Yeah, I'd just like to talk to this. It has been a fairly long, drawn-out application, this one, because I remember that this was discussed at our councillor forums in this very room this time last year. So it has been well documented and well discussed. The development application was subject to impact assessment. It has been assessed. There was one submission received with regard to the DA, but the procedural requirements and the DA rules have enabled council to decide on this application to be fulfilled. So I would support the application.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? We go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 13.4, development application, material change of use, multiple dwellings, 4 dwelling units at 45 Gregory Street, Roma, reference 2025/21529. Councillor Flynn?
So I move that the development application for material change of use for multiple dwelling, 4 units located at 45 Gregory Street, Roma, be described as Lot 13 on R866, be approved subject to the listed conditions.
Have a seconder? Councillor Vincent. Anyone got questions? Would like to speak, councillor?
Yeah, pretty much similar to the last one. This one has been on our books for a considerable period of time, and the applicant has had to come back to us on a few occasions, including the impact assessment. And the impact assessment, there was no submissions against that, so quite happy to move that the development application be approved.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Go to the vote. Sorry.
I was just going to say, it's good to see some more dwelling units being built, given the housing issues at the moment. So congratulate the developer for working through this. Hopefully it'll assist the town to some extent.
I agree. All those in favour? 0. Thank you. 13.5, post-event review, Keep Maranoa Beautiful Annual Curbside Collection 2026 and set the dates for 2027 collection. Councillor Vincent.
Move that Council 1, receive and note the officers' Keep Maranoa Beautiful post-event report. 2, approve the Keep Maranoa Beautiful 2027 campaign to commence from Monday 1 March 2027.
Have a seconder? Councillor Seawright. Thank you. Do we know when Easter is next, 2027? Do we usually do it before Easter?
Yeah, we do.
Is it well before Easter?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. And the other thing is, it costs a lot of money. That's a big figure. Okay. Councillor Vincent, sorry.
Just one question. Have we got Australia Post booked ready to send out the post?
That's why we've gone now, to give us heaps of lead time to get all that sorted out, yeah.
Just clarifying that's Roma. Just clarifying that's Roma, Australia Post.
Yes.
And Mitch.
Roma.
3 weeks before.
We will ensure there is plenty of lead time, which is why it's here now.
Yep.
Very good. All right. Anyone got any questions? Would you like to speak, councillor?
Yes, I would like to speak on this one. I think the community really appreciates this initiative of council. You see them putting their waste out very early, as soon as it starts being advertised, and they are starting to look for it to be advertised to put it out. It would be great to see our community following the rules, separating the waste. It might cut down on some of the cost. It is expensive for us to do this initiative. So maybe we can start to look at how we could do it a little bit, but I think we need our community on board to help us with that, the sorting of the waste, to make it a little bit easier. So it is a great initiative. So.
Yeah. Councillor Burkett?
Yeah, I'll speak for. I noticed the one bloke would be happy in Mitchell, 25 refrigerators, so the local electrician shop would be rubbing his hands together. The only concern I have is the image of when people drive through town that don't know what's going on. It looks like it's a ghetto. Whether we like the baiting signs we have at the entrances of town to just explain it, like the locals know, but especially when you're home and they do get in early, as soon as they hear it, they just start lumbering stuff. So. But I think it is a great concept. Gets a lot of rubbish put in the right spots. But I do agree with Councillor Vincent. If we can get them to separate a bit easier, it might bring some costs down, save a bit of time.
Yeah, the signs is a good idea. Yeah. Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, councillor?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All good. Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Good job, team.
Yeah, it was a good job. That was probably one of the most smoothest ones we've had for a while, Bob. So even though we had a bit of rain, mate, thank you.
Aside from the Australian Post issue.
Yeah, aside from
Yeah,
that.
but
Certainly the collection.
you're onto it now, so we're all good.
Seems to work well, mate.
Yeah.
It doesn't get the glory that the others do, but mate, it's a good job. Yeah.
All right, 13.6. Adoption of the Maranoa Visitor Economic Strategy 2026-2035. Councillor Vincent.
I'd like to move that council adopt the Maranoa Visitor Economy Strategy 2026 to 2035 as presented.
Seconder,
Second.
Councillor Flynn.
Question.
I have a question, Councillor Hancock.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. Just wondering, did we just note that we had some feedback from some stakeholders, and the feedback was that we weren't saying where country meets the
Hang
outback.
on, sorry, Councillor Hancock. I have a conflict of interest on this one.
Oh, okay. When you're ready.
Adoption of Maranoa Visitor Economy Strategy 2026-2035 is the description. Item is obviously 13.6, declaring councillor. This is Councillor Cameron O'Neill. The person with the interest is myself. Particulars of the interest, RCAT is mentioned in the report as a group has been consulted for this item. Debbie Jopic is the General Manager of RCAT as a personal friend. Type of conflict is a declarable conflict of interest. The action I'll take is although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias, therefore I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Somebody
I'm
got
gonna
words?
have a conflict too. I didn't even think of that.
Councillor Brompton.
I move that it is in the public interest that Councillor O'Neill participates and votes on agenda item 13.6 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Seconded by Councillor Davis. Are you going to declare too?
I'll have to, yeah.
You might have to sort that out.
Hang
I think
on.
there's a few. Do you have, Peter, you might have one too.
For what?
East in the country, is that?
It was consulted.
It'll be this.
Mayor, I move that we lay this on the table to further in the meeting so
And they
that
can do the conflicts.
councillors we can get our conflicts sorted and get through to Cal.
All those in favour of laying on table for later in the meeting? 9-0. You'll be back. So we're going on to 13.7, applications for Regional Arts Development Fund RADF Program 2025-2026. Councillor Brown.
I move that council endorse the RADF committee's grant assessment recommendations and approve funding from the RADF budget GL 2885.2250 to support the Queens of Song Roma project for $2,800 and basic silversmithing workshop for $4,127.
Seconder, councillor Hancock. Anyone got any questions? I haven't read it, but what's the Queensland of Song project?
It's a vocal and musical opportunity, which is nice to see in RADF. I was going to speak to that. We're getting some other types of events.
I'll let you speak to it then. Where you go.
So it is nice to see that this time we do have another vocal and musical applicant. So it's good to see that groups are realising this is more than just for painters and sculptors, and it's great to see the extension of the program to support things like that. Also for the silversmithing, unfortunately in Roma, the silversmithing group closed down, but hopefully through having some another workshop, it might reinvigorate that group as well. So I'm asking the other councillors to support these two applications that RADF has endorsed.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
I just had a question with the Queens of Song. Is that part of a loop, or is it just coming to Roma?
Through the chair, the applicant just detailed a performance here in Roma with workshops with local school groups. I'm not sure if it was going beyond
That's okay,
Roma.
you've answered my question, so it'll be local schools in Roma? Okay, thank you.
Community members are also invited, I think.
Oh, to the performance, yeah. So it culminates in a performance at the
where they
end.
have a choir and, yeah.
Okay, yep, thank you.
It might just help out the local choir too, which is be good. All right, anyone else got questions? You're right, you don't need to speak again, you're all good? All right, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Thank you very much, Kim. (14.1) May Street Wallumbilla. Councillor O'Neill.
I'm going to move. I just wonder if we should resolve to delay this a fortnight and actually speak to the 6 or 7 residents specifically about the name, just to get their feedback. So I'll move something, but I just don't want to adopt.
The name.
Maybe it's in principle, it's Hembrow Street, and that we go and speak directly with those residents, given that they're the 6 or 7 that are.
It's only 6 or 7.
Yeah, the deputy CEO.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Councillors, no issue at all. You've already touched on it before I put my hand up, but it'll be just giving us some direction as to the name that we consult on. I did consider that, but at the end of the day, it's council decision to select a name. So it's probably to make it useful for the officers and make this productive would be if we get some sort of idea of where council might be thinking. But yeah, that would just help us wrap this one up for you. So.
Thanks, Deputy. All right, when you're ready.
I'll give this a go and we'll amend as we go. Kel, that council, 1, give in principle approval to the renaming of the western section of May Street Wallumbilla, being the section west of Wallumbilla Road south connecting toward Blue Hills Road, to be Hembrow Street. 2, consultation occur with residents that reside in
Along the road.
in this section of road
In
of
that new
street,
street.
in this new street, and that a further report be considered at the first ordinary meeting in June.
So you don't need
We'll deal with
Straight
point
back.
2 once that comes back. Yeah.
Councillor, is it new street or just newly named street?
Yes, because it's not a new street.
Not a new street.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Newly renamed street.
Yeah.
No, new
Just renamed
in the
street.
newly
Just say renamed street.
Well, it hasn't been renamed.
No, it hadn't been decided yet.
In the proposed renamed street, and a further report be considered at the first ordinary meeting in June.
Okay. Have a seconder. Councillor Burkett.
Oh, sorry.
Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Thanks, Mayor. This is a issue before us that has come directly from concerned community members. That due to the closure of the bridge there in Wallumbilla, there had been a change in layout, if you like, of the street, but of May Street, and there have been concerns raised about particularly emergency services being able to get to this little part of May Street in quick fashion. Generally with emergency services coming from Roma. It is a risk, it's a concern, and that's why we are considering changing the name of this affected part of the road. The Hembrow name, as councillors will see in the report, is an old name for the former Bendemere part of the region, the eastern part of the Maranoa region. The Hembrow name, of course, was very strong in leadership roles in local government, is a former mayor of Bendemere Shire, some 16 years as mayor and a councillor before that. We have a consistent approach in other former elected representatives having roads named after them right across the region, but particularly in the eastern part as well. And I think it would be fitting to bestow this particular name on this part of what was May Street. But of course, this resolution is just to give in principle support to do that, and that we do direct consultation with residents that live on this smaller part of May Street. So I welcome the report coming back in a couple of weeks. Thank you to the Deputy CEO for grabbing this and running with it and presenting it here today. There's as you can see, a body of work that's gone in to allow council to consider this change today.
Anyone else like to speak? We go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 14.2, Roma Airport Cafe Future Operations. Councillor O'Neill.
Once I get to it. I'll move the council. Doesn't read right. That council undertake a market process for the future operation of the Roma Airport Cafe located within the Roma Airport Departure Lounge, with the proposed arrangement to be structured with an initial 1-year term with 2 further 1-year extension options exercisable at council's sole discretion.
Have a seconder. Councillor Hancock, would you like to speak, councillor?
Thanks, Mayor. The Roma Airport is a major gateway into our region. We factored in a long time ago the provisions for a cafe to ensure that there was food available to departing visitors to our region, and also people that want to use it as they arrive into Roma as well. We have had some ebbs and flows in terms of how the operation of this particular facility works. We are dependent on the airline of the day. We're dependent on the number of passengers that are coming through the Roma Airport to make this a success. Pleasingly, we have had a cafe in there for the last number of years that has given it a real crack at making it a success for them as a business, but also as an important vehicle to provide food and refreshments to visitors that are largely departing from the area. So I think this is the right step for us to go back to market as is appropriate, because we've reached the end to determine who will take on that cafe and the important role that plays for our community. As the Roma Airport is a key facility for our region. So this is a right step to make that happen.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 10-minute break for morning tea and we'll be back at 11. Okay, I'll reopen the meeting at 11 o'clock. And we're up to the late, which is L1, monthly financial report as of the 30th of April 2026. Councillor Brompton.
I do have a couple of questions, but I'll move in any case. I move the council note the monthly financial report for the period ended 30th of April 2026.
Have a seconder? Councillor Vincent. You want to start with your question?
Yeah, actually I've only got one question, the rest are statements, but Director Brett, page 24 of the report, the gas expenditure, I note that for the last two now, I think this is the third month where it said we've got the coordinator's wages in the cost centre, that obviously they need to be moved out, but they still haven't been moved out. I'm just worried we're getting near to the end of the year.
What page are you up to?
It's 24 of 31 of the report, which is 29 of our paper.
Okay, thank you.
So the gas, we've got a note in there that we've got some gas salary in there that shouldn't be. I suppose what I'm concerned is we've raised that for 3 months and we'll get to the end of the financial year, it still hasn't been fixed.
Thank you, Councillor. Yes, I spoke to the finance team this morning, just to check on that actually, and they assure me they're working with the water sewer gas team to try and get that resolved. Because ultimately they need to work out where the breakup should have been, and so they're just working with them. They assure me it'll be done for the next report, so I guess we'll definitely test that in the next one, given the assurance I've been given.
Thanks.
Anyone else got questions? Councillor Vincent.
Sorry, Joe, do you?
Yeah, I do, but you're right.
Page 38
Page 38.
of our papers. Can you just explain the yellow dot on the Inching Caravan Park safety lighting project? It's
Page
just
38.
the project's complete, but it's still yellow on time.
Well, yellow would indicate that it hasn't. Oh, yeah, generally on track. Yeah.
Minor issues.
Sorry, I was mixing it up with the operational plan.
It's on time and on budget. Is that what that means?
Green's on time, isn't it? Well, it's complete. It's got project complete.
Oh, yeah.
Yellow's generally on track with minor issues.
Just even trying to find it. I must be looking at a different page.
Oh, it's 38 in our report.
It's 2 of 15 of attachment 2.
2 of 15.
I would suggest that the yellow should probably be on budget because it looks like its expenditure doesn't match the budget.
That's
Yes,
right.
yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, there
It
it
looks
is,
like
yeah.
it's over.
Does, doesn't it?
Expanded.
Is that expenditure is in credit? So I'll have to double check on that one for you, but I mean, I can make an assumption based on that that was meant to be a carryover and they've actually done an accrual reversal, which has put it into credit. Yeah, I will have to, sorry, that's jargon, wasn't it?
That's okay, Brett. I'm happy for you.
I'll have a look at that one.
Councillor Hancock.
That was one of my questions. My second question, my other one was just under that in community safety. It's about the in security camera purchases, which is the APLNG funding. It's red, and we've got 2 reds down here, so I'm not sure if it's not on schedule or if it's off track. A review required, but just noting that we have spent some, so are we, I just wonder why that might not be done. It's just purchasing them. So you might have to take that on notice.
I have to take that on notice because I know there's several security camera projects currently underway, and I know that one of them, particularly in the CBD, which I think is a separate project, which I know that one's behind. But I think this is to do more with the towers, and I thought most of that was finished. So,
My second one, Mayor, is on page 49.
Can we stick on page 38 before we go? Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Through you, Mayor. Just on the Feather Street Roma House relocation, that's the pool house?
correct.
Is that
Where is it?
so? Annual budget 145, year to date 61. What? We've relocated it. Why is that still red?
Can you come up with that one? But it's just we still haven't got the year, or this is probably printed there with the connections there. We had
I know there's
a hole
still a
in
bit
the
of work
floor.
going on,
There was a
and
few
that'll,
things
the
there.
phasing will be part
I'll
of
let
it.
you talk about there. That's one.
I'd suggest that's a phasing
Still
issue.
pretty much.
But what was the cost for us to move it?
Councillors, I can, through the mayor, I can get the full details. This is obviously this financial year in total, so it only reports this financial year, but I can get you the full one. It was just flagging there that the budget's slightly more. We had to do an electrical upgrade to get that house connected and that, but in terms of your overall question, I just don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I can get you the full relocation cost, but a fair few of those costs would be getting the building, balustrades, steps, treatment plant, and connection of power.
You're still within budget though. Your annual budget's 145.
It's behind when we expected it to be done.
No, it's in front of it. You've spent more. Year to date expenditure is more than
I suggest that's probably to do with the way it's been phased, spread across the year or loaded towards the end of the year instead of how it's actually occurred.
Yeah, okay.
The cost for the actual removal would have been last financial year, Cam.
Correct, yeah, yep.
So, council, yeah, the cost for the removal was last financial year. This is obviously all, once it's on site, the fencing, the power connection, the balustrading, as you said, the treatment plant, replacing the hole in the wall floor where the chimney used to be.
But is the reason it's red is because by now it was anticipated that we would have gone to auction on it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we all,
Like
yeah,
the
all right.
dollars, it's more about the timing, and I suggest it was probably what the other one mentioned before. It wasn't delivered in the Q1 or Q2.
Yeah. I don't need that info, Cam. That'll be a waste of time.
Understood.
For me, others might want the full plot, but that's not why I was asking. Yep.
It's under budget though.
Yeah.
Page 49 of our papers,
Page 49, which is page,
page 13 of 15, Brett. Just this Cobb & Co changing station, it's got nothing in the first little bits. Got it? No, something. Not started, righto. It's not started. It's not started. It's on budget, yet we've spent $3,600, but it's not started. And also, I believe that was a WHS issue, and so I'm just a little bit concerned about that and what's happening down there. Bearing in mind that we still had the volunteers, and then now I think our staff are doing it. Like, I'm just concerned it's WHS.
There is a lot committed, so maybe,
there is a nice answer.
I'm happy to speak to that, Mayor. So this project, correct, was a WHS was raised. So we went in there and put temporary balustrading and plywood up there. The project's been fully designed by a structural engineer, and Lights have been engaged to do their work and are scheduled to start that at the end of this month there. So sorry, the end of June. So that's sort of the status of it. But to help allay any concerns, it's not as if we've done nothing. We've put a fairly temporary plywood arrangement there, but that was never going to be the permanent solution. But contractors engaged, ready to go, just waiting on them being able to get onto site. So
Yep, thank you. That's all I need to know.
All right, councillor.
Through the Mayor, page 42, Parks and Gardens. It's got off track in terms of budget for the Lions Park, Rome Irrigation and Grounds upgrades. Why would that be off track when we had increased the budget?
Councillor, the history of that one would be we would have flagged that as off track prior to getting the additional budget approved as part of a previous report. It's just probably administration where we haven't had that updated to
Timing
to
This is
reflect
from the 30th of April.
Correct. Yeah. So we will
30th
flag.
of April, but we made that decision before the 30th of April.
Yeah, as I said, it's probably just an error there to update it, but generally when we're short on budget and we're preempting a council report, we will flag it as red. Council report is considered, and depending on the direction of that, that should be updated to reflect a green budget. We've delivered majority of that works, it's in budget.
Yeah.
It was
No, well, I knew all that. It's just that it's not reflected here. But I'm sure we made that. I mean, we're only only a little bit into May. So we made that decision long before this report would have been generated.
It gets picked up, Brett, correct me if I'm wrong there, but you'll make your decision there, it'll get reflected in the actual, in the capital work budget, then that then flows back down into your
Well,
program.
certainly should have. I'll have to double check where it is to make sure it is.
But part of this
Transaction
seems to
occurs
be
in the back end.
year-to-date budget versus year-to-date expenditure, so it's that whole phasing thing. If the budget
Dumps
isn't
it all in the end.
budget phasing isn't updated to reflect
That's right.
the changes.
But the year-to-date budget should be updated if we've increased the annual budget.
Yes, but I think what's happening is that's this whole issue with phasing, that the budgets aren't being updated on a monthly basis necessarily in a timely way.
Well, is that a more a process thing? Because once we make a decision to increase the budget here, that should automatically be implemented in here. I think I know the system. I don't, but I don't know how easy that is. But that should be a trigger from the council meeting, shouldn't it?
It'll come
Absolutely. It should be. And it really, like, what it needs is, so finance, for example, the resolution is passed.
Yeah.
Finance sit down with the project manager and say, right, how is the remainder of this budget to be allocated? And then they should process that. So clearly that there's a bit of a gap, something hasn't happened there yet, I would suggest. That either that conversation or so that it's put into the right month.
But am I simplifying this too much to say the annual budget, the year-to-date budget, if we increase it by 100, that should be automatically updated by 100,000 in here?
The annual budget should be, yes. At least, at
Year-to-date,
bare
not
minimum, you should see it
necessarily.
there.
It depends where
Year-to-date,
they say that expenditure's gonna hit.
Yeah.
You normally phase your budget across the whole thing of the project, so they might have loaded it all at the end of June, I suggest.
Oh, so that 423 may actually reflect the
Have to double
additional
check
money.
that, but it may,
I see.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Just one query, and it's very early in the report, but we're only showing at the moment 44% spent on capital projects. Page 8.
It's the actual
I was
spend.
gonna talk to that too, but we've got commitments of another 31 million, if you look at the report.
What does that take us to percentage-wise?
Well, we did talk about that last month too. It was highlighted there. We just run the numbers there for you, councillor. But yeah, it's the commitments as well. We talked about that one. I think it was raised last meeting as well. The actual spend versus the commitments there, the percentage there. It was.
Well, it's currently 75 million is in terms of commitments plus actual.
Yeah.
Against the budget of 98. 99.
What would you say, that's 77%?
Yeah, no, 77 million is the total with expended and committed around 74. But
It's going to be very close to 73% or 74%, just based on, without getting a calculator out, yeah.
And through you, Mayor, Rob, like on page 44 with the potable water supply, the Mangalala reservoir and pump, it's got that it's either not on schedule because it's red, but it's on budget, so it's on track. And the project's, it says project close. So therefore, it wouldn't be red, would it?
What page you on, councillor?
44. 44 of the agenda
page
pack.
8 of 15.
8, thank you.
The first red under potable water supply.
Mangala Reservoir and Pump. Well, that looks fully spent, doesn't it?
Yep.
Fully
And if
spent.
the status is project closed, then that the light should be green, shouldn't it?
Yep, I would agree.
Councillor, sometimes if a project is carried over from a previous year, like it's probably a bit rude to be saying it's green and on time when it's potentially carried over from a previous year. So there is some logic behind that where it.
So you're never on time.
But not on the 30th of April. If all the funds have been spent and it's on budget, then it.
Yeah,
It wasn't delivered on time.
Well, it wasn't on time when we agreed to carry it forward. But once it's been delivered, then it's done, isn't it?
Yeah, the project's done. I just.
We have to make them green, councillors, but we're just trying to be upfront there, council. When we said we're going to deliver something in Q1, we don't deliver it till Q2 or Q3. We're not going to say it's green and it's been done. We say it's on budget, but sometimes.
But it wasn't
Oh, it
wasn't delivered on time.
We did talk about that.
So when we
We had a
say,
conversation about it.
when you read project close, it means project's close. But we didn't deliver it on time, but
Not
we did
necessarily,
deliver it on
that's correct,
budget.
Okay.
For different reasons. And we had talked about it as staff, as even as the LT there, but we'd love to put it as green to say, well, it's been done and it's been done within the financial year, but sometimes we give council a commitment, we're going to do this in Q2 or Q3, and it doesn't happen until Q4. then they said it's a bit probably rude to put it as
That makes
green.
sense.
All right, yep.
Yeah, no, so a project like that, for example, councillors, as I said the other day, projects unfortunately don't care about financial years. You might find that there's $300,000 sitting in the previous year that's been done. This was the last component to be done, so that's why we're just flagging it as it probably should. It was forecast to be done last year. But
Yep.
anyway.
My turn. Page 32. On the graph there, what is non-urban industrial? It's not commercial, it's not industrial, what is it? It's in the pie.
32.
So non-urban industrial will be all of those, so for example, any of the, there might be, well, certainly all of the mine and the gas and et cetera, so it's certainly part of them. But it'll also be,
But did that be that Ramadowns Road stuff? That industrial land out on?
This is debtors.
age debtors, yeah.
Yep.
So it's all of those I guess they're industrial, usually for the most part, they're
And so
industrial
is the
ones
two-
outside the local area.
Is the 2,904,
And
is that 2 million?
that one will be, well, I don't know the actual individual one, I'd have to find.
Oh, I
the
don't need to
individual.
know the individual,
But-
it was just, I just didn't know, like, that 64% was a big number, that's all.
Yeah, I can certainly find out details if you'd like particular details, but they certainly are getting managed, and it just includes a whole bunch of, I guess it's really the odds and ends outside of town that aren't rural properties. So anyone that's any of those external entities, or if I don't know, the gas companies, or there might be any of the works, say for example that Cam's doing some road works and they've invoiced for a road management plan, and so that money hasn't yet come in, those kind of things. So there's a whole bunch of different things that get bundled into that large number.
Okay, thank you.
It's just currently overdue, doesn't mean it's not getting paid or chased up, it's just currently overdue. You can see the actual overdue. I don't think the overall overdue is that particularly high, but this one's to do with rates, I might add, that particular graph.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's only to do with rates.
and then on page 34, the airports, the 269789,
Airports.
is that people just not paying their landing fees?
No, that's the money that's owed to us from
Regional from way back,
Express.
did we not get that?
Not yet.
In progress.
It's in progress, right.
We put an application into
Yeah,
that
yeah,
round.
yeah.
But we're not getting it from the provider,
From the government,
it's from the government,
Yeah.
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 From the
all right, thank you, I'm all good. Has anyone else got anything on this one? Who moved it? Councillor Brumpton, do you want to speak?
Please.
Wait.
I won't say too much now, all those questions have been asked, but you'll see that the year-to-date actual surplus is currently sitting at 4.91 million. We had actually forecast a deficit at this stage of 625,000. A lot of this is to do with the increased revenue that we've got across the sale yards and the quarry, but also a lot of our issues still remain to do with when we're receiving grants. So at this stage, the staff saying we're still currently on track to receive budget at end of year. I was going to point out that even though we've only spent about 43 million on capital, we've got 31 odd committed. So we still haven't reached our 100%, but it's better than has been previous years. And the other thing of note was that I see year to date our local spend is 41.07 million. So that's what's been spent locally, which is, it's good that we're tracking that now, and good to see the money that Maranoa Council is actually expending in the local region. So.
Well, good, thank you very much. All right, let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. L2, monthly report, meeting actions, update, April 2026, and outstanding actions. Do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move the council receive and note the officer's report as presented.
Seconder. Councillor Burkett. Anyone like to speak, councillor? Anyone like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 6. L3, short-term tourism activation and marketing campaigns in response to fuel crisis. Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I'd like to declare a conflict of interest in item L3. Description is short-term tourism activation and marketing campaigns in response to fuel crisis. Declaring councillor is Amber Davis. The person with the interest is myself and my husband Wayne Davis. The particulars are that we own and operate Bessie's Ice Cream Bus and food options considered list local food vendor vouchers. The type of conflict, it's a declarable conflict of interest, and although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have the perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting and participate in the meeting. However, I respect the decision of the meeting and whether I can remain and participate in the discussion.
Have a mover, Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Davis participates and votes on agenda item L3 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Seconded by Councillor Brumpton. All those in favour? 8-0. Do I have a mover?
I've just got a few questions and then I'd be happy to move.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you to staff for bringing this to the table. Two questions that I have. With regards to the approximate revenue loss on page 88 for free entry to the big rig, was that taking into account the 32% decrease we saw in the previous month of reports?
Yes, in general, yes, councillor. I made those estimates. I think maybe it was $15,000 to $18,000 per month, but that was based on the existing trend of the decrease.
Okay. And with regards to the group bookings detailed in the reasoning behind for not recommending a discount, do the tours normally just have general entry, or are they actually booking tours of the big rig?
Through the chair, they are booking the day tours as well as the night show. Sometimes it is at a negotiated rate, but they'll take commission off of the bookings as well. So it's not just the night show that they're participating in. Some of them are coming for the self-guided tour during the day.
And how much of a split do you think that is between the general entry and the actual tour where we supply the tour guide? And
the retail cost for both is the same, so $20 for adult for self-guided day tour and $20 for an adult for the night show. With most trade taking anywhere from 10 to 25 to about 30% commission.
So what, they're 50% booked all the time, or where is our general business?
Our general business is direct FIT, which is free and independent traveller. So most of the admissions are not trade or groups, but they do make up a portion of it.
So Georgia, if it's a bus, does the bus company pay, or is it individuals off the bus?
The bus company pays in most circumstances.
And how many, just jump in on that, and how many of them would we have booked in for the June, July at the moment?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
Do you know roughly how many we normally get?
We can check that.
We can check that.
And email it out to you, councillors.
Anyone got any other questions?
Yes, I do. Just with the supporting the assist tourism operators in uploading the deals to the Australian Tourism Data Warehouse, can you just explain that a little bit more to me? Specifically around when we know that Mitchell has come to us as a little town and they've got some deals going. We're going to assist them to put that there, but we're also going to promote their deals as well. Like, can you explain how that might happen?
Can I say that? So Mitchell, I understand there's been a subgroup of the Baringa Action Group formed to focus on tourism. They actually have not come to me as a council officer to talk about promoting those deals, so I'm not aware of the deals that they've set up. But for example, we could incorporate those deals as part of this marketing campaign that's being recommended.
Madam
existing
Mayor,
ones.
through you, thanks for sharing that, Georgie, and I appreciate that you weren't at our portfolio catch-up the other day, but they've come to council and told council, so we've passed that on to council staff, and we want to, and they really would love us to help them with some marketing, and so we're happy to embed that into there, but it was a specific request from some business owners out there. I don't know if they're actually involved in that group or not, but it was the business owners that are crying out for some support for marketing of their deals in their region. So, so we might need to, through you, Rob, reach out to them to see what they, how we can help them.
Don't change the resolution, but we can add that to the
resolution.
Well, it's a marketing campaign for the Maranoa, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So
They specifically want us to market their deals, Mayor.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like they would be included.
we can include that in the notes there, councillor. There won't affect the resolution, Madam Mayor.
Says assist into promoting the marketing, so would that cover it, as long as we've captured that which ones we need?
Yeah, so we capture ones we need. Yep.
Through the chair on that, any of those organisations or businesses out there have the opportunity to participate in this ADTW program. So we'll blanket it as far as sending out, make sure everyone knows what's going on. They have every opportunity to come forward, and we can help them get it on the ADTW. And that's our advice. Is that's the best way to try and get more people through their businesses through that.
How does it, and I don't, excuse my ignorance about the ATDW and how that works. So logistically on the ground, how does that work? Because I know that some of the stuff they might have been putting forward is that, and don't quote me on this is just an idea, is, if you stay 2 nights at the caravan park, you might get a free something meal at the pub, or, it's that real personalised approach. Can those sorts of things go up onto this ATDW, or is it just specific, I own a business in Mitchell and I'm giving free entry?
To my understanding, yes, you can add those deals onto ATDW. So they could say, stay 2 nights with us, get a free voucher for the pub. They can put that on ATDW. ATDW pulls through to outbackqueensland.com and queensland.com as well, and the deals tend to get higher features on those websites. So that's where the recommendation to support operators in uploading the deals to ATDW comes from, because while we can promote it at our regional level, it automatically extends across to a far wider audience.
Yep, sure.
Councillor O'Neill?
Thanks, Mayor. A couple of questions. One, in terms of the digital media campaign, Tony or Georgia, who do you envisage is going to pull the material together?
Through the chair, that would be myself.
The recording of it?
Yes.
And the editing?
Yes.
Right, so it'll just be you, Georgia, a standardised, because I asked the question because if we're farming this out to have other people do it, there's going to be an inconsistency, particularly in what I think is a really good concept, where the locals still give you away videos of operators and locals waving. If it isn't the same person capturing it, it's going to look odd. So it is just, so you're going to travel the region, Georgia, and record on an iPhone,
Yeah, through the chair, just not using high technology, just on the phone.
And we've got the platforms internally to then edit that into a way where it's all the videos together, or
yes,
combinations of them.
Yes.
Right. And then my second question is, which is more of a concern, that the campaign will run during June and July, aligning with the peak tourism season and the winter school holidays. That's it doesn't seem like a long way away, but that's a long way away. Is there a way, taking the example with BAG, with what they're promoting, we could be picking that stuff up and marketing it tomorrow?
Through the chair, what's being presented is a specific campaign based on that tagline you mentioned. It doesn't stop any other marketing that we do. So yes, we could pick up any promotion of deals right now, this week, today, but this specific campaign will be running over that period.
And Georgia, how quickly do you think you'll pull the footage together in a way that it's like, is it ready to go the 1st of June? Is that what we're...
Yeah, I reckon we'd be close. If not, we can, I mean, we're going to, Georgia's only one person, we might be able to still use some other people in our local areas to do it on the same, with the same platform to actually still achieve the same result and consistently.
Yeah.
But look, we'll get onto this as soon as you basically make a decision. We'll get moving on this.
Because I just, my follow-up in terms of questioning the timing is, to my mind, I think we need to launch the campaign in a way that we get some state media. So whilst we're doing our own, the campaign's a campaign, and we're targeting tourists, we need Southern Queensland, ABC, drive show with Cat Feet. We need to get their interest in this. The only way we're going to do that is if we make a bit of a bang to remind everyone that Maranoa comes before Merway or Ballon. Like that we're just a little bit, we're playing a slight catch up, and the way to get ahead of that is to have something a bit of a bang to launch it, so we get at least whet the appetite of some national media to pick up the story as well. So I just wonder if we can put some thought collectively around how we might do that.
And through the chair, councillor, I think the way we can do that is have our councillors front and centre on that one, because us trying to, as officers, sometimes to try and get that media coverage a little bit more difficult than what it would be for the mayor or the deputy mayor or the portfolio chair.
Sure.
So we can certainly take that on board and get something going.
Thank you.
Councillor Henkel?
Just to clarify, I appreciate that you need, through the chair, Georgia, you need the time to be able to grab that and to get that together. But what I heard before is that you can start immediately just advertising on, our region. And I did notice that at the airport, like there is already stuff that's ready to go with the little things on it, taglines on it as well. Like Discover in June, there was quite a few ones ready to go. So what I'm hearing is you can already start promoting our area with that, and then the launch is a little bit different.
Through the chair, yes, the promotion of our region is ongoing. That occurs year round. This is a specific campaign based around that, where the locals still wave. So we can and we are continually promoting our region, what's available, the deals year round. This proposal is more about specifically focusing on that key messaging of where the locals still wave.
Do you, you raise a really good point. We do promote our region all year round, but in certain times leading up to maybe, I know tourism season's meant to be all seasons, but into our more busier time of year, do we promote more heavily leading into that, or is it just the same program all year round?
More heavily leading into our tourism season.
Yeah, and we've done that this year?
We have tried our best to do that this year, acknowledging that we are lacking in resources at present.
Okay, thank you.
Councillors, just just got some information from our big rig manager down there. 21 bus tours for June and July. Booked for the big rig.
That's a lot.
That is great.
Is that a lot?
Thank you for getting that. Well,
Mayor, can I just ask, in the campaign, again, I will fully support where the locals still give you a wave. How do we factor in a bit of a message in there and the oil's still flowing or the fuel's still flowing? Like that has been one of the dispelling myths that we're trying to overcome, thanks to our national leaders, that you can still come to the Maranoa and get fuel.
Through the chair, yes, that will be a key message. We'll lean heavily on the Southwest Rock fuel tracker, which shows the availability real time of fuel across the southwest. But that will be one of the key messages as part of that campaign, is that you can access us. We do have fuel. It's available.
You could be waving from a fuel
station.
fueling your car.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, fuel my car, please.
Practice that wave pretty well yesterday.
And the other,
Park my car and fuel it just for a nice car in there.
the other part about that is there has been some retreat in the fuel prices.
Yeah, they're right.
But the impediment here, correct me if I'm wrong, and you would have got many calls across Easter, wasn't what is the price of fuel? It's do you have fuel? People are still travelling and they'll come here if they know that they've got fuel.
Yeah, I think we discussed that, and we think it might have swapped a bit now that people think, oh yeah, no, there is fuel that didn't really impact.
So it is a drive. It's the
And it's
cost
about
is
the
a driving
price,
factor.
yeah.
Oh,
But we're
Let me
also
comment on
considering that.
Cameron, I believe, and I'm not totally across all those phone calls, but I believe the major concern was cost.
At Easter it was, yeah.
I think that fuel.
Because they're paying $3.10 a litre or something like that, whereas now it's down to $2.35. So, you know, we're...
And fuel tracker.
it's interesting because the
alleviated that.
hotels, motels told us something different. RCAT's saying something different. It's that it was the availability of
And
fuel.
I think
And through the
probably
chair-
different probably different clientele in the fact that most of the calls that we would have been receiving were from campers or from marketeers who had specific budgets to come here.
Yeah.
And I think the concern with supply was more at the early stages of the crisis. I don't think there hasn't been much talk about that recently. So I think that's been alleviated to a large degree. That doesn't mean we can't say, hey, there's still fuel here, we're all good, you know. So, but I think there's not as much angst about supply now than what there was, say, 4 or 5 weeks ago.
And it's due to the fact the work that have gone in around there with the Southwest Rock stuff there, it answered that question. It was initially, but I think there's been some solutions put in place there, and they're fairly well promoted as a rock region. It just goes to show the strength of that rock and how well it works when we all work together.
There's no doubt the national messaging has had a direct impact on the tourism season. Well, we're seeing it. We're driving past the caravan parks and we're seeing the numbers.
We're at the Port of Brisbane, they're telling us there's no problem with supply.
No.
No, that's right, yeah. And I think just well,
Every shipment has been met.
Yes.
so we're saying June councillors, it's a bit of work between now and then. It's 6 working days, so it's not a lot of time. So we'll.
No, I accept that on the campaign, but I'm hearing that there
there's
are
others that we
ways
can
that
do
we
now
can be
as
getting
well.
some stuff out
Yep.
now. Yeah.
All right, has anyone got any other questions? Georgia, did you have anything you want to add? No? Okay. Councillor Davis.
I'd like to move that Council 1 endorse a digital media marketing campaign option as the short-term marketing activation, allocating $15,000 from work order 14481.2537.2001 Marketing General to begin immediately, highlighting the region as a whole and individual towns and surrounds. 2, assist tourism officers in uploading their deals to the Australian Tourism Data Warehouse, ATDW, to promote in the marketing campaign. 3, amend the fees and charges schedule for the Big Rig self-guided tour from the 1st of June to the 31st of July 2026 as follows: $10 per adult, $8 concession, $7.50 child and $30 family, excluding local residents, which will remain at a $5 flat rate cost and excluding bus tour bookings.
The number 2, you said assistant tourism, you didn't say operators.
Oh, sorry, assist tourism operators.
Sorry, just so I see.
Through the mayor, just a little bit of comment from us if you wouldn't
Sorry,
mind, thanks.
yeah, through the mayor, could we either alongside or rather than saying excluding bus tour operators, say excluding trade tourism? Because we do have the bus tours, that's a key part of our trade, but we also have it through ITOs, inbound tour operators, online travel agents, so on and so forth. So just to encompass all of those, if we could say excluding trade tourism.
Okay, happy with that?
Happy with that?
Seconder, please. Councillor Vincent. Would you like to speak, councillor?
Just briefly, thank you for the information. As it shows, I am not in the tourism field, but I have been approached by many local businesses. Councillor Hancock and I took an opportunity start of the week, 2 days ago, to go up the street and actually speak to some of the retail shop fronts. They're feeling that it is a slow season. I've had other local businesses contact me from surrounding towns telling me the same thing. From reports from staff, we're down 1,433 people less visiting our visitor information centres, not including Mitchell, because that data wasn't available at the time. So to put that in perspective, that is every man, woman and child in Mitchell and in June less than are coming through our visitor information centres in the last month. I think forgoing a little bit of revenue from the big rig just shows that we have a bit of skin in the game to support, because I'd much rather forego $10 at the big rig and have them spend at an operator downtown or on, one of our many businesses we have in the region. So I'm supportive of this motion today as it stands.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Vincent.
Yes, I'd like to speak for this one today. It's really important to market our region. We talk about it a lot in our portfolio meetings to ensure our name is at the front of people's minds when they think about coming out to the outback. We are at the beginning, the edge, the gateway, whichever way you want to look at it. And I think to have a really focused marketing campaign at this time is really important. Our businesses are feeling it. We are hearing it everywhere we go. The numbers just aren't coming through the door. So I think it's just one way that we can assist with helping with that.
Thank you. Councillor Hancock.
Thanks, Mama. I too just want to put my voice to this. I am actually excited about the campaign. Just down the road where the locals still wave, I think that's a great initiative that can be launched. I think it will help put Maranoa. We're already on the map. We just need to remind them that we're here, we're open, we're ready to receive anyone who wants to come this way, that we are actually a destination in itself. If they can't afford to go further on, come visit us, come visit families. We are asking for that real targeted marketing campaign this year because of what's going on in the region, because we are all trying to vie for the same, probably, visitors with our neighbours, and they have to come through our neighbours sometimes to get to us as well. So it's about being in it together, but we just are really wanting to be able to target the Maranoa to support our businesses who are doing it, who are feeling it a bit tough this season, and this is one way we can support it. I do want to acknowledge and thank the staff for their quick turnaround of this report that we're looking at today, and thank you for their involvement to be able to come up with some initiatives to help our businesses. So through you, Mayor, to Tony, thank you. We only met, feels like a few days ago. We're now looking at a report today. So I just want to acknowledge the work that is behind that, and that the work that we're asking our staff to do in a short period of time. We don't take that lightly as a council to do that. That's how important we think this is to be able to be on the front foot and support our community at this time.
Thank you. Councillor Burkett.
Yeah, I'd just like to follow on from Councillor Hancock, Tony and George, especially George, you're obviously understaffed and you can see the passion you put into this. I applaud you for that. I think it's a great thing that it is a catchy thing to wave. I think that will really show well on social media with everyone having a wave. It's not clogging up with words, it's just a simple thing. I think also us supporting the local businesses, but it's also up to them to support each other, like the initiative with the 2 free nights and the meals or whatever. I think that's a way forward too. They can't always come to us. They've got to help each other as well. So fully supportive of this. I think it's a great job.
Anyone else like to speak?
Yeah, can I just make a comment? Totally supportive of the project, but I think we might be selling ourselves a bit short. I just sat down here and marked the last 5 or 6 weeks of what numbers have come through the town. Darren Lockyer Cup the weekend after Easter, the town was sold out. We had the autumn camp draft the week after that. I'm pretty sure we did have something out at Mitchell and regional areas the week after that. We had the long weekend in May with the Clay Target group. We had the Roma show. Last weekend we had the motocross. All those activities have brought significant visitor numbers to town. And I think we've got to try and promote ourselves rather than say, well, these numbers are bad, because maybe the numbers aren't as bad as we're trying to portray them.
Yeah, and I think in that instance that they are coming, as we've said before, for events. So
Yep.
if, you know, like the mum and dad that have got the caravan on the back, they might be balking at coming, but if they're coming for an event, we seem to be able to get them here for those sort of things. So, yeah. Did you want to speak, Councillor?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, thanks very much. I echo Councillor Hancock's comments in the speediness in which the report has come to the table, and I want to acknowledge the staff behind that as well. I also want to acknowledge Councillor Hancock and Councillor Vincent and Councillor Davis, who formed the little working group. From a strategic perspective, we needed to act on this pretty quickly, because obviously, not discounting what Councillor Flynn has just shared with all those events, and those annual events that you refer to are incredibly important. But in the season that we are at the moment, as we're going past the caravans, and we saw this on Monday morning in Surat, where we would normally, on the creek, on the riverbed there, would be a buzz with caravans. It just simply isn't. And we can see that across caravans, parks across our region. So this is about targeting a different market to those event ones that have just been referred to, which are massively important. But as annual events, we really need to back them in and make sure that they're happening and are doing really well as well. But this campaign, I think, is a bit of a line in the sand for us to get cracking again, to remind people that we are only half a day's drive from our major capital city in terms of Brisbane, and that we have a lot to offer here, and our tourism operators are doing it pretty tough this season, and so a lot of that has been out of our control. But this investment, albeit a small one, and the campaign is in our control, and I think this will be a welcomed campaign coming from the civic leaders in our region, in terms of council, for our tourism operators, to remind them that we are supporting small business, particularly in Small Business Month, and that we're going to back them in for this tourism season. So I fully support this, and look forward to being involved in the campaign any which way we can.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, Councillor?
Yeah, just to echo what everyone has said around the table, another aspect is that discounting the Big Rig self-guided tour also adds the opportunity to invite your own family, friends out, stay, be a tourist in your own backyard. And we do have a lot to offer as a region, and we're very connected. So looking forward to having this campaign up and running and sharing it.
Mm-hmm. All good? All right. With that, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Georgia. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Jamie.
L4, in June Vic Playground. Do I have a mover? Councillor Vincent.
I'd like to move that Council 1 receive and note the officer's report regarding the condition of the In-June Vic Playground, and 2, progress a new capital project within the 2025-26 budget for full playground replacement of the In-June Vic Playground. 3, allocate $100,000 from surplus funds from council delivery of private works throughout the 2025-26 financial year to deliver the project. 4, undertake community consultation on playground options, including the different options for softball.
Seconded by Councillor O'Neill. Does anyone, hello? Any questions? Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. Just for the staff that just joined us, in terms of that last part of the recommendation, the consultation is important. That's why we've included. But I just want to highlight the fact that we've had a few discussions last week about softball and the direction that industry standard, etc., is going in terms of softball. So I think the work that we do here to understand what options there are for this park in the short term is going to help us as a council when we look to upgrade, replace build a new park that includes softball, and so that element is going to be very important, more broader than just in June.
Do you agree? Just checking. And the other thing I was going to say, are you targeting an age group for that playground?
Yes, Mayor. For this playground, the main usage seems to be under school age. So that would be the target demographic for this.
Yeah, that's good. Has anyone else got any questions? No? You'd like to speak, councillor?
Of course I do. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I do, but
Oh, sorry.
I might have missed, Councillor O'Neill might have said it, sorry, but just wondering, with the project, are we going to, we're doing softball and we're going to look at doing the replacement of playground. Have we talked to community about what we're doing with that? Did I just miss that whole conversation? I feel like I did.
Well, that's
Okay.
that's point 4 up on the
Yeah.
screen.
Right, you did. You did miss the whole
Well,
conversation.
we did. Right. My mind was still back, last one.
Are you right?
I'm good.
Good, okay. Councillor Vincent.
Thank you. This is a major asset for the Injune community. It's located right in the right near the cafe. It's very popular during the First Five Forever programming, and just to confirm with Lucy and Kylie at the table today that it is used mostly by children under the school age. And I think it just makes sense. This project playground, I believe, was in the budget in only 2 years' time. So this softball seat needs such major renovations that it's appropriate to do it now. So I implore all my councillors to please support this project today.
All right, anyone else like to speak? All right, let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Easy done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carly. Thanks, Leslie.
L5, installation and donation of the Wallumbilla wrought iron sculpture. Councillor Seawright, do you have a conflict?
Yes, I wish to declare a conflict of interest on item L5, installation and donation of Wallumbilla wrought iron sculpture. The declaring councillor is myself, Councillor Brendan Seawright. The persons of interest is myself. Particulars of interest, I am a member of the Wallumbilla Town Improvement Group, and I actually manage the procurement of the sculpture, and I'll also be involved in the installation of the sculpture after a decision is made. The type of conflict is a prescribed conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Thank you. Councillor Seawright has left the room. Councillor Burkett.
Yeah, I'm happy to move. I'd like to move that Council 1 approves the installation of the Wallumbilla wrought iron sculpture within the Wheat Shed and Calico Cottage precinct, Wallumbilla. 2, notes the Wallumbilla Town Improvement Group will undertake installation works at its own cost and responsibility. 3, accepts ownership of the sculpture upon completion of installation. 4, notes of works and council reserve permit and deed of indemnity are required prior to the installation. 5, notes at any future lighting associated with the sculpture is subject to consultation with the Department of Transport and Main Roads. 6, authorises the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to execute any required documentation associated with the acceptance of the donation.
Seconded by Councillor Brompton. Has anyone got any questions?
I do.
Yep.
Can people climb on it? Can they get in it?
Through you, Mayor, Councillor Hancock. Similar to a Slim Humphreys truck that's in Roma, people can access it, but we'd probably pose to the Wallumbilla Town Improvement, similar to what we've done at the sculptures out back, is put a plaque just advising people not to climb it or touch it. Yeah, there's also discussion around whether we rope off the sculpture in the future, lessens its slight impact, but just if people are starting to access it and try to touch it and climb it.
Can I ask what's on the top?
Looks like cactus.
Yeah, we'll try that.
What is
And
it?
maybe that might stop people.
I reckon.
Is it cactus?
Yeah, I think so.
Ugliest thing I've seen.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it's written on there. I think I've seen it.
I don't care whether they have it or not.
What is on the side? It's hard to see what's actually written on the side of it.
I think that we had a photo sent to us or something.
Did we?
Or it was on the You could zoom in.
What is on the side?
Oh, hang on. Actually, Brendan might have been sent me the photo on text.
I can circulate the attachments if you'd like to, councillors.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Councillor Davis.
Thank you. Georgie, it might be in the report, but how are they proposing to mount it? Will it be similar to the rings with the crusher dust, or is it an actual?
Councillor Davis, correct, with crusher dust. I'm just finding the exact. I've just deleted it. Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry, Councillor Davis. On a raised bed of crusher dust. That's right.
Anyone else got questions? Want to speak to it, Councillor?
Thanks, Chair. I think
I have a question. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Sorry, did I? Yeah. Remember that point, Councillor Bogan. Sorry, is the base is just what?
It's so they've got on a raised bed of crusher dust and then also sitting solidly on support stands just to ensure it does not move.
Just to keep the tyres off the ground. So they don't get in there and light her up.
I'm guessing since they've spoken to the operations manager, I just thought, like, how does that go? It must be all right maintenance-wise.
No different sculptures.
Is it going to have like the
Operations manager's been
like? Is the base got the like the cordon steel or something similar to here at the sculptures? Like I'm just thinking aesthetically, if once this goes in, right, it's in, and any criticism on whether it looks appropriate or not, that's not going to be level. That isn't going to be levelled at the Wallumbilla Town Improvement Group. It's going to be at council and. We've got to get this right first up. So I just wonder, can we get a plan as to what the look is in terms of where it's, how is it going in? And
I'd say be chocked up, supported underneath, behind the tyres, so the tyres look like they're on the ground, but they're off it.
And I think, Councillor Beck, there lies the problem, is that you think that that's what it might be, and I'll think that's what it's going to be, and we need a plan, don't we, to understand what it's going to look like.
Yeah, so I just think of the photos of that sculpture so you can zoom in on it. It does say in the body of that email there they're putting them on support, on the crushed dust as the officer said, and on.
Does that come from you, Robbie?
It has just then. Give it 30 seconds there. That's just for the photo so you can zoom in.
That's what you were saying, Georgie?
Just flicked it through.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've got email issues. They turn up half an hour after.
Yeah, I'm getting that too. Yep.
It keeps.
We haven't got it yet, have we? No.
I think there's some issues with our emails.
Cam, have you got a plug I can plug into?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Do
It's
you have
100%.
it?
Oh, you're right, Karen.
Got the wrong handbag today.
Sorry, we're just waiting there because we haven't got it.
Can I just ask a question on insurance while we're waiting for that to come? Because, I mean, obviously for the sculptures out back, we assume ownership of those items when they come. So we've already got a Slim Humphreys truck out there. So I suppose it's the same thing, but we've talked about, putting a sign on there. I mean, they're constructed to allow people to climb on them. I believe that's what his work is. But then if you put a sign up, that doesn't really stop people from accessing it, does it? And have we ever explored what that means for us insurance-wise? Like if a kid climbs up onto the top of that thing and falls off, same as here, it's a worry.
Same as the bull.
Oh, yeah, same as the bull. Are we okay with coverage of those? Because putting a sign to say don't climb, does that actually abrogate our responsibility?
We did have a fair bit of discussion around that with insurance in our renewals this year. It's my understanding, Brett, correct me if I'm wrong, that it is covered appropriately because we looked at it from the point of view of the sculpture park. Yep.
Technically, I mean, it should be no different to the truck that we've got sitting here already by the same person.
Yeah.
I understand the issues about the aesthetics, but I was just questioning that just to make sure we are covered for that down the track.
Certainly cover for sculptures and for people viewing them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
we did do a lot of interrogation on that around the sculpture park.
The reason I ask is that, you know, we've obviously had a sculpture go towards in June, and you know, the turtle will get a home soon enough in Surrey.
Won't need a stand for it.
It'll be on a big plinth. Plinth will be bigger than the turtle, but we've spent a lot of money on the wheat shed, and there's a lot of landscaping, gardens, everything done there, and it looks amazing. We were there earlier in the week. How do we make sure that this fits in and doesn't look like it's a pimple on a bum? You know, we want this to fit into the overall look of that down there. So I just think we need a bit of a plan as to exactly what that.
So do we need to have something that's, if edging is not included, for a quote or for pricing to come back to us for consideration or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, the Wallumbilla Town Improvement Group will undertake installation work at its own cost and
We actually don't know how they're going to
know what that
install it,
is.
is my point.
Besides the crusher dust, we
No,
don't
it says,
know what it is.
yeah, it says sculpture will be like a raised crushed dust, also sitting on solid support stands to ensure it does not move.
I suppose the issue with raised crusher dust is unless it's contained in
Yes,
something,
Yes.
it'll
Yeah.
just
That's why I asked about the
disappear
cord and
across
steel.
the landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just semantics.
I think it needs to be displayed rather than just placed, so however we can assist the group in having it as a displayed piece of artwork, whether it is the steel that, or it's, yeah.
Can we just have in there that a installation plan be
Approved by council.
absolutely approved by council, but in consultation with the Wallumbilla Town Improvement Group, developed was the word I was looking for, developed with the Wallumbilla Town Improvement Group and approved by council.
I'm just worried about the timing of this. They want to actually open this on the 30th of May, so we're not going to have another council.
What's on the 30th of May?
The artist is back in town, so they were hoping to do an unveiling of this sculpture at that next Saturday. They were also mindful of missing the sculpture's Outback opening. They didn't want to overshadow that exhibition, so they were trying to do it while Slim was in town.
Authorise the CEO to sign off.
And the day's installation plan, we've got construction team here. End of the day, I think the Amby Hall painting was probably a bigger risk going in the unknown without seeing it there. And we work.
I've got every faith these guys will do the right.
This is just to do with the 49th there. So, council, just so we're clear, we've got something similar here in Roma. It's a crusher dust place, but with that metal ring round to keep it all in there, you would be satisfied with something to the same standard.
Well, it looks uniform then, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that's all I need.
Yeah.
So if we don't need to bring it back, if you just put in there that, councillor, sorry, you started putting it. You had some words there just around the installation be approved by.
Be approved
So
by the
it's already
CEO.
authorised down the bottom.
Yeah, that's covered, so it'll just be finalise an installation plan, develop an installation plan in consultation with Wallumbilla Town Improvement.
Yeah.
As a
That says that council develop an installation plan. That's
We want to
not
say
right.
that council authorise the chief executive officer.
Could we say number 4, require prior to installation and approved by the CEO or delegate?
Deed of indemnity and installation plan. You can say, no, it's a working council reserve permit, deed of indemnity and installation plan.
That council authorise an installation plan in consultation with that council authorise, then that's fine. And then down the bottom, we're authorising the CEO or delegate to execute all required documentation.
I've got that clarity there. You're providing it's the same as what's here. Then
Yeah,
council
just
status happy.
uniform.
That council require an installation plan in conjunction, not authorise it. Because how do we know what we're authorising? And then down the bottom, it's authorising the chief executive officer.
Fair enough.
The council require an installation plan in consult.
That works.
And George, Gwen, just probably work with Lucy on that. It just, when we say a plan though, it'll actually be, this is what we've got in Roma, this is we want the uniformity of standard, this is what it's going to look like, so just.
Yeah, it's not an engineering plan.
No.
No.
Installation.
How much should we
Just so you
change
guys
it? Do I have to
clarify
reread
that.
that or just?
Well, we've had a fair bit of discussion, so.
Well, I've moved an amendment, that's
But it
point 3.
It hadn't been asked for me yet.
I've moved the amendment.
Do you agree with the amendment?
I don't know, I'm worn out. I've forgot even what I was going to say before, but yeah, whatever's happens.
Well, do you agree with point 3 being the amendment?
Yeah, I'd just like to get it to happen, that's all.
Councillor Brompton, do you agree?
Did I second it? Yes, I agree with the amendment, sorry.
That's all right,
Totally
that's all right,
lost
we're all on track. Okay, councillor Burkett, let's have your
Right.
say.
I have to remember. No, I think this is a wonderful project, and it's a prelude to the sculptures of the Outback, and I think, over the years we've discussed having every little town has a little bit of a sculpture feel to it, and I think this is great, and I think with the history on the item, it paints a picture of Wallumbilla. It is unique. I think he's a very talented artist. I think nowadays with kids climbing on things, you're not going to be able to stop them. It is what it is, the world we live in. But I think it's a great initiative, and I applaud the Wallumbilla Improvement Group to get it to happen. And I think hopefully we'll see more of these in the future. I think the initial plans for the wheat shed, there was a row of windmills and wrought iron objects. So this probably fits into their original feel for the place. So fully support them. I have all the faith in the world of this community group doing the right thing.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Brompton.
I'd like to speak to congratulate the group for doing this on their own bat. They haven't come to council for money for the actual purchase of the sculpture. They've done that themselves. I suppose this discussion that we've had about the installation plan, and I think you'll see more things across the region, and it would be good if groups engage with us early. I know probably sometimes they don't because we slow things down too much, but it would be nice in the longer term to have uniformity on what we're doing. Because if we are looking at an arts trail that turns into a sculpture trail, it would be nice for the Maranoa to have a point of uniqueness and a point of similarity in our sculptures, how they're presented, so it does have a nice uniform look. So I don't know how we can change that apart from exploring groups to have a discussion with us up front if they're looking at something, just so we can make sure they're not stymied at the end in what they're wanting to achieve, because I do think it's great for the Maranoa to improve our arts and cultural identity in any way that we can.
Thank you. Anyone else like? Councillor Hancock.
Yeah, I'm going to support this because I too want to, congratulate a community group who comes forward with a project and initiative, and it is about arts and culture. I think it will, only add to that, and we are trying to get an arts and culture trail around the region, and so I think it will just add to that. And and it's a community group that's shown initiative and have been able to get this done and for their community, and they're installing it at their cost, and then it becomes council's. And so I just want to congratulate the group to come forward and showing initiative to invest in their own community.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm happy to support this as well, and all credit to the Wallumbilla Town Improvement Group for showing the initiative to work in to get the funding and have a vision to include a sculpture in Wallumbilla. I do think it will add to what's been happening here with Sculptures Outback. I think there's obviously other towns have acquired artwork to include. Is it a regional initiative, and I think that's a good thing. I think getting this right now is important in terms of the base and how it is displayed, because it is setting a tone as to what this should be. Particularly, this is a large piece of art, and so whilst it may not be displayed quite like some of the smaller ones that we see locally and elsewhere, it still needs to have a uniformed approach. And the moment we get a downpour of rain and that gravel starts to erode, it becomes our problem. So if we can fix that now, I think that is a really good thing. And in terms of speed, this will be a good test in working with the community. If they want to open it on the 30th of May, it'll show how council can work in very quickly with our community to make things happen. So happy to support it, and I can't wait to see it there.
Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up?
Oh, just to follow on from Councillor Brumpton's point, it is a hard for us. We do not, I suppose, on purpose slow things down, but we've got a lot more ticks and balances to do, and it is frustrating for community groups when you've got people that see common sense and know how to do it, but we've got to go to that next level. And I think sometimes there is an opportunity for community groups to do their own thing, but when it does come onto our land, it does bring us in. But hopefully that we can fully support them as quickly as we can and get this to fruition. But yeah, no, definitely supporting.
Thank you. On that, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0.
Did he go that way?
Councillor Bucking?
Oh, that way, I think.
Was it Gwen's first meeting, first time at the table?
I don't know. Gwen, was that your first meeting?
Georgie, was that Gwen's first time at the table?
Oh. Sorry, Gwen.
Good job, Gwen.
Good job.
Sorry.
Woman of few words, great.
Take note, George.
Thank you. L6, Establishment of Strategic Steering Committee, Major Resource and Energy Projects. Councillor Brumpton.
Sorry, Mayor. Did you mind if I just suggest one slight amendment just for consistency of language?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, you got a conflict of interest? Yep.
No, she's done what we
I'd like to declare a conflict on item L6, description establishment of strategic steering committee, major resource and energy projects. The declaring councillor is myself, Councillor Brumpton. The person with the interest is myself. Particulars of interest: I work part-time for West Wind Energy, who I mentioned in the report. It's a declarable conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Thank you. Councillor Seawright.
I wish to declare a conflict of interest on item L6, establishment of strategic steering committee, major resource and energy projects. Declaring councillor is myself, Councillor Brendan Seawright. Persons of interest is myself. I am employed by Origin Energy, who is a CSG company operating in the Maranoa. It's a declarable conflict of interest, and I'll leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Thank you. Councillor Brumpton and Councillor Seawright have left the room. We're all yours, Deputy CEO.
Yes, sorry about that, Mayor. My apologies. Just for consistency of language, probably would like to propose changing the word steering to advisory. There's definitions around committees, and I just think that's more clear. It just appears twice in the recommendation at the there. So if that would be my sorry, 3 times, Kel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just up the top there too, Kel. Oh no, on the
Point 1.
yeah, on the first line.
Thank you, Kel.
Yeah, thanks, Kel. Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I'd like to move that Council 1 establish a major resource and energy project strategic advisory committee, SSC, and appoint Councillor O'Neill and Councillor Hancock to form part of the strategic advisory committee. 2, note that the strategic advisory committee is intended to operate in an advisory capacity to support strategic alignment and oversight regarding major energy and resource development activity occurring within and adjacent to the Maranoa region.
Seconder. Councillor Vincent.
We just need to change if they get used, SAC rather than SSC, now that we've changed that.
Good pick up, Jane.
Good pick up. Yeah.
Just in case it becomes common language.
That's
BSAC.
No, let's just get rid of that.
Happy to remove it. It doesn't add any additional value.
Yeah,
so.
Awesome. Anyone got questions? Anyone? Councillor Davis, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you. I've put forward this motion, for Councillor O'Neill and Councillor Hancock. It fits very well within their portfolio areas. It will be made up by several council officers, the Chief Executive Officer, the Deputy Executive Officer, And I just think that this is a good move for our council to stay abreast of the developments happening. Obviously, no decisions will be made in these advisory committees, and anything involved will come back to this room for discussion and voting on. So happy to move this.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Vincent.
I support this motion today. I think it's really important. We're only at the start of what may come with different resources coming into our community, and I just think it's very, very important to get the best thing for our community early on. So this is the best way to work as a team to get the best things for our community.
Yeah. Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm supportive of the resolution, and thanks to Councillor Davis for the inclusion of myself and Councillor Hancock. I do think in terms of major projects and the portfolio that I hold, as well as advocacy, I think this is a good fit in terms of the strategic advisory committee, especially with the speed in which the government has backed in the Taroom Trough. I came onto council right when things started to move very, very quickly with the CSG industry, and quite frankly, it was moving at a speed in which we were, ducks on water. Our legs were moving very, very quick, and we're not. I would hate to see that happen a second time round. I don't think it will. In terms of our readiness, we've learned a lot of lessons in respect to working in with companies, particularly with government. The language coming out of the state government, particularly from the Coordinator General, is that this is going to be a measured approach, and that we've got a seat at the table, and there'll be other other things to share in weeks and months ahead in respect to the role local councils will play in steering this from a state perspective. But locally, I think we've got to be across it. The first committee that we had in terms of a strategic committee has been, in my term, 4 terms in council, was this term with the pool and the strategic project it is, and I think it's worked exceptionally well. Councillor Flynn and myself, as the representatives on that particular committee, from a portfolio perspective, with the staff and ultimately all the decisions, as Councillor Davis alluded to for this, will come back to the table, as they have with the pool, but it has given that extra lens, which I think is really important. And equally, this is going to be a major development for our region, and we've got to have our eyes on this to make sure that we get some real benefits long-term for our community, and this steering committee is a step to doing that. So I'm fully supportive of the concept, and thanks to Councillor Davis for the nomination.
Anyone else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, Councillor? All right, let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 7-0. Thank you.
You should have said yes.
I know, but I didn't have something.
Just visiting the ladies' rooms.
We'll just wait for Councillor Brompton. Councillor Seawright and Councillor Brompton are back in the room. L7, Tender Award 26015, request for tender for the delivery of the curbside waste collection services. Councillor Vincent.
I move that Council 1 award the contract for tender 26015, request for tender for the delivery of curbside waste collection services for all service areas in the Maranoa region to JJ Richards Proprietary Limited, tenderer B. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to finalise and execute the contract with JJ Richards Proprietary Limited, tenderer B.
Seconded by Councillor Brompton. Does anyone have any questions?
Just one question, one query. nowhere does it, well, that I can see, it says the current tender expires on the 30th of June, but nowhere is to me, is there an expectation that the tender awarded starts as of the 12 midnight on the 1st of July or 30th of June?
Is that the intent?
Yes, it is the intent, Mayor, to be Mayor. It does actually state, Councillor, in the report that Tender B have offered to commence the contract with new vehicles and service commencement date on the 1st of July 2026.
Which means we don't have to go into add in to the last.
Okay,
bit.
yep. Yeah, found it.
Can I just ask a question then? Can I, given that it's in the report, I think that's pretty important to be in the resolution.
Yeah.
I do too.
Councillor Vincent, would you like to put in the resolution?
From number 1, from commencing
1st
July.
July 2026.
July, yeah. 1 July.
Councillor,
Yep.
just on that one,
Is that
we
council
did sort of
also?
say that we could extend it out if we needed to. They've given us undertaking that they can
Thanks, Cal.
do it. That's going to lock you in.
What was that, sorry?
We did talk about this. So we had the ability there to extend out to the end of the year, which is not. I'm not suggesting anything near that. Just saying that
26.
it's
26.
it's Bolts have given us undertaking. They believe they can be up and running by that date. You know, it's
So there's no need to extend the current tender.
it's going to lock in you.
Yeah.
Did you want?
Yep. So based on current dialogue between all tenderers, obviously until this is officially awarded one way or the other, we can't lock anybody down. But all of that was always a key criteria of the evaluation, was that confidence that date could be achieved. And the tentative successful tenderer has given us a guarantee that they will meet that date.
Thank you.
So then, I see what you've raised, Rob. Would it be better, don't type this yet, Kel, just in case it doesn't go that way, but would it be better to not have that in point 1? It's authorised the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to finalise and execute the contract with JJ Richards Proprietary Limited, Tenderer B, with a negotiated start date. How are you aware of the 1st of July? So it gives you the ability to.
Thank you.
Like if we say the 1st, it's the 1st.
It is correct.
If we put it as the 2nd, you can negotiate in and around, but our anticipated date is the 1st.
Start date. Do we say anticipated and then
Or target.
With the targeted start date, yeah.
I'd just be comfortable with that.
But ultimately, the ability to finalise that rests with yourself.
Councillors, yeah. Like I every confidence that will be the date, but it just gave it for the sake of
Councillor
Couple of
Vincent, are
days.
you happy with that?
Authorise the Chief Executive
Councillor
Officer to
Brompton?
finalise and execute the contract with JJ.
Yes. Right.
Sure, we can
Anticipated start date?
Yeah. Wriggle room. We don't know what
Semantics.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a question, through you, Chair. This is just order number, the work numbers. Why, Roma's got Raymond Hodson, and then there's all these individual ones. Is there a reason why Mitchell, Begonia, Dunkeld, Muckadilla, all on the same? That's not when they'll be doing those, it's just...
That's the work order numbers that they're associated to.
Yeah.
And that's for pretty much for us internally, so we can work out whatever
just
expenditures and
because,
budgets.
like Mungalala, Amy, by South Jackson, I just wonder why they were grouped together like that. Nothing to do with the route or nothing.
No.
Right, has anyone got any other questions? Councillor Vincent, would you like to speak?
This is a massive contract for council, and a very important one as well. We know our communities rely on their rubbish bins to be collected every week. We've put a lot of work into around the table here, talking about the best way to do this, the long time tenders. So we really wanted to get it right. We did sadly only have 2 companies put in, and neither one of them were locally to the smaller towns or to the town.
Not local operators.
Well, they are local operators.
Oh, well, they are, yeah.
Sorry,
Existing.
take that back.
None of the existing.
Sorry.
No, the existing tenders.
none of the existing ones, thank you. So it's been an intense process, so just thank you to Jamie and Bob for the work that they've done behind the scenes with Troy, our consultant, to get this over the line. There's a lot of information, a lot of pricing differences that had to come into play, and just wanted to thank the current businesses that have had these tenders for the last almost 10 years. So the communities are very appreciative of this service that they expect.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Burke.
Yeah, I think it's a throwaway line every election that, you know, sometimes it's a negative, sometimes it's positive. We rates rubbish and roads, but they are the key things. And the most complaints you get are the little things like rubbish bins or rubbish. So they're the everyday things. But it is exciting to have someone new that's going to take on the whole area. It's one point of contact, I suppose, like that. But it is sad that none of the existing we went above and beyond to make that happen, both at this table and the staff did, and it is a bit saddening that it might have been their issue or whatever, but it's just a shame because I think there was a real opportunity, especially in the Mitchell area, to take on a small business or keep a small business going. But it is good that we've got someone that's coming in with all new gear, and the main thing is we're not going to have any disruption in rubbish service moving forward. So, yeah, thank you to staff. That was a huge undertaking, and we really appreciate it.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. As Councillor Vincent said, this is was it a massive amount?
Massive.
This is a major decision for council. I think this is the second time in 14 years that we've awarded it. So there's that you can go multiple terms of a local council without this matter coming before a council. So that shouldn't be lost on this term of council.
So it's just our bad luck.
All good. Shows that we are in a good position to make the decision. I too want to echo that it was unfortunate that we haven't seen current providers tender again. We made the decision a decade ago to go in that direction to support our local businesses, but they've obviously made a decision based on their own circumstances. I'm pleased we've got a couple of companies to choose from. I think that's important too, that there is some competition in the market, and we gave the best chance to test the market. We've come up with the decision today. I know that we put a lot of pressure on to meet the timeframes that council wanted to achieve, but I think that's important. This is not a decision that should rest in the 12 months prior to the end of a term. That's what happened last time. Whilst the right decision was made at the time, it felt like there was a lot of pressure because politics can come into play when it falls at that time. That hasn't been the case this time. So thank you to Bob and Jamie for taking on the pressure on your shoulders of myself and my colleagues to get this done in a timely fashion. And I'm stoked that we will see a new provider starting in line with the new financial year. I think that's a good outcome as well. I'll start where I finished. This is a big decision for council. It is a huge amount of money, but it is an important decision for us because whilst we do a lot of other things outside roads, rates and rubbish, if people put their bin out on a weekly basis and it's not getting collected, it'll be us getting the first phone calls, and it'll be Bob and Jamie getting the second ones, and probably Robbie too. And so I'm fully supportive of this and look forward to the next 10 years of this contract.
Very good, thank you. I'd too like to just say thank you for all the work. We know how hard it was and all that goes with that, so thank you very much. Would you like to sum up?
Just quickly, really just to reiterate what everybody said, everyone can read the figures and everything in to see how big a contract this is. But just to Rob and the staff, that it was a tight turnaround to get it started at an appropriate time, not close to Christmas or anything like that. So thank you very much for the time you took to not only explain the contract to us, but also the work you did behind the scenes, working with the current contractors. To get everybody to the same place. Thank you.
Okay, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. It's in the bag. Thank you very much. Can we go back to the ones that are laid on the table? Are we ready for the ones laid on the table?
It is. Mayor, I think we need to adjourn for lunch before we deal with those matters laying on the table.
We do the.
I think lunch was
It's not
there.
Georgie. Okay. But you know how quickly you could do those two if they were going to be fairly quick.
There are. We do good chance not to
But
do it.
Georgie's get her started on that tourism stuff.
What's the ones we're laying on the table?
The tourism, the strategy.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Would you like to do the strategy?
We'll do the strategy.
Is that all right? Just
Leave the other one though.
Freeze Georgie up to go and do.
That one before lunch if possible.
Yeah.
The strategy, yeah, but the other one we might leave.
Yeah. That's okay. Just just free Georgie up to go and do some other stuff.
So we'll go on to 13.6. Laid on the table.
Is that in our?
We were dealing with conflicts.
13.6 in.
The original agenda.
Oh, yeah. Did you sort
In
out
the
your
normal
conflicts?
agenda?
Everyone sort them out? Okay.
Just
So 13.6 is the adoption of the Maranoa Visitor Economic Strategy 2026 to 2035. Councillor
That
Hancock.
one's wrong. That's the wrong item. I
Oh,
think. I
yes, it
believe.
is. I'm sorry, Cal.
Yep,
That
one's
is the community grants, or the events grants one, sorry.
Councillor Vincent, is that you? Are you all good? Yep.
I'd like to declare a conflict of interest on 13.6, adoption of Maranoa Visitor Economy Strategy 2026-2035. Declaring councillor is myself, Jane Vincent. The person with the interest is myself. Particulars of the interest: my mother, Janice Humphreys, is Secretary of CHIPS, a group that was consulted during consultation period. It's a declarable conflict of interest, and although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Somebody got words, Councillor Hancock?
So before that, sorry, Mayor, we where we left was that I'd moved that I had a conflict on this matter.
You moved yours first, yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't actually go to vote on it because others then. So we just probably need an indication of who in the room has got the conflicts, and then you need to deal with mine first, and then.
Righto. So who's got conflicts? Who's going to declare? 1, 2, 3, 4.
So there's 4. So you have to do mine first.
Happy to do yours.
Yeah, and then we'll do and then keep going. Yeah. So I've already moved. I already declared it.
Just need someone with words.
Well, I think
Councillor
that had
Hancock.
already
might have been
started.
Councillor
as well.
Davis.
It was moved by Councillor Brumpton, seconded by Councillor Davis.
Okay, sorry.
We just hadn't had the vote.
And the vote.
All those in favour?
Repeat your
No, just the 5 of us, yes. 5-0. Okay, now Councillor Vincent. Somebody move Councillor Vincent? Councillor Hancock.
I move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Vincent participates and votes on agenda item 13.6 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Seconded, Councillor Brompton. All those in favour? 5-0.
Can't vote on myself either.
I'm not even looking at you. 5-0. Who's next?
Block them out.
Councillor Seawright.
I wish to declare an interest on item 13.6, adoption of Maranoa Visitor Economy Strategy 2026-2035. Sorry, declaring council as myself, Brandon Seawright. The persons of interest is my wife, Kristen Seawright. My wife, Kristen Seawright, is the secretary of the Yulbar Development Group, who were consulted during the key stakeholder engagement process, and I mentioned in the report. It is a declarable conflict of interest. Although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Councillor Brompton.
I move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Seawright participates and votes on agenda item 13.6 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Seconded by Councillor Hancock. All those in favour? 5-0. Who's next?
You've got either Flynn or Burke.
Councillor Flynn.
Item 13.6, adoption of Maranoa Visitor Economy Strategy 2026 to 2035. The declaring councillor is Peter Flynn. Person of interest is myself. The particulars of interest are an executive member of Easter in the Country Incorporated organisation that is mentioned in the report. Type of conflict is declarable, and because I am an executive member, I will choose to leave the room while the matter is being voted on.
Thank you.
Have to wait till we've done them all.
Is that all? Everybody's done?
One.
Thanks.
Brendan's done.
One more.
Brendan's done. Everyone's done.
Have we got
Oh,
everyone?
4. That's 4. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Flynn. Right, do I have a mover? Councillor Vincent?
I'd like to move that council adopt the Maranoa Visitor Economy Strategy 2026-2035 as presented.
Seconded. Councillor Brompton, would you like to speak, councillor?
Thank you. This is very exciting. We've been working towards the Maranoa Visitor Economy Strategy for this term of council. Thank you very much to the staff for all the work they've done and for all the community groups that met us. I think I was an apology for one, so there was a lot of work done in the background. It's been back out for consultation as a draft and it's come back to us. We did get some great feedback at the end. I have had a look back over that feedback that we received from RCAT and I believe that we are able to cover off on all the things that they did mention in their feedback. I think as we go towards action planning over the next 12 months, we will see a lot of projects start to fall out of this that community members can do, we can help with, we can advocate with. So this is a very good driver for our staff going forward and for our community going forward in the visitor economy sector. So I'm very excited to see this if it's adopted today.
Thank you. Councillor Hancock, did you have something?
I have a question. And I note that Councillor Vincent sort of mentioned about the stakeholders and feedback, and I just am wondering about the feedback from RCAT, which is Roma Commerce and Tourism. They've just raised the concern about changing the where country meets outback to the edge of the outback, and I was just wondering what our staff think about. You know, is there a risk if we do change it to what is already marketed with OQTA, which is the where country meets the outback?
Through the chair, so the line, the edge of the outback, is in the vision. It doesn't intend to replace any marketing taglines or bylines. This is just for reference within our strategy, which is for the industry and internally for our industry, not outwards facing towards the consumer. And it's just being used to reflect our geographic position in alignment with the vision and the overall strategy. So our intent is not to replace where country meets outback in any marketing or anything like that. This is just for reference in our vision in this internal document.
So, but this isn't an internal document, is it?
Not internal in that it's internally for council, but I'm sorry, I probably meant it's not consumer facing.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm just a bit worried because I understand. I understand. I'm not opposed. I'm just trying to balance that, Roma Commerce and Tourism has been, a important stakeholder, as is everybody across the region. And that is not, I understand why they would say that, because it's not mentioned anywhere in our strategy. So it looks like we're marketing ourselves now to the edge of the outback instead of where country meets the outback. So that I just got a bit of concern about that. But you're saying it's about geographically.
So through the Mayor, we have responded to RCAT in relation to their feedback. I think we've done that in a fairly professional manner, and it reflects what Georgia just said in relation to the fact that it's not about a marketing tool here. This is just in relation to a vision statement. It's certainly, this isn't necessarily a public-facing document. It is out there, will be out there. It's not aimed to try and attract visitors to the region. What we'll use there is where country meets the outback. It's not to try and cut across there. We're not going to lose any great sleep, councillors. If it's changed, it's still our recommendation to leave it as it is, but we're not going to lose a lot of sleep either way. But it's we've got to, I suppose, keep in mind, RCAT are a very important stakeholder, but they are one stakeholder. We haven't received any other feedback from any other organisation in relation to their concern about that term. So that's all I'll say on that matter.
Can I move an amendment?
Yep.
And sorry, I'm going to move this amendment with all due respect to staff and Councillor Vincent and feedback. I'm going to move an amendment. The Maranoa the Council adopt the Maranoa Visitor Economy Strategy 2026-2035.
Yeah.
With the amendment to the vision. The Maranoa region will be recognised by our visitors as a must-stop stay and experience destination where country meets the outback.
Can I? Yeah, we need to talk. Just hang on. Councillors, can we make a comment on that? Thanks. Just in relation to Carnarvon Ranges. That's all.
Yeah, sorry, through the chair, I recognise the amendment to include the phrasing where country meets the outback. However, a key part of that vision is our geographical position in relation to the Carnarvon Ranges, and I just don't want that to be omitted from the vision. Like we can keep in where country meets the outback, but I would like the Carnarvon Ranges mentioned to still be in that vision statement.
And as the mover, I am going to actually, I totally agree with that. As the number one attraction to our region is the Carnarvon Gorge, that we have now just added a tagline and got rid of one of our major attractions to our region, just so we can put a tagline in.
But are you confirming are you not including Carnarvon Run?
I was just going to ask the question about the Carnarvon Gorge, and I do understand that, 100% understand that it's very important. And is it the reason that we're mentioning Carnarvon Gorge specifically in our vision? Carnarvon Ranges. Carnarvon Ranges specifically in our vision is to make sure that we're including that major, because we're not naming anything else, any other major, which I'm not saying we should name everything. I'm just saying, is that because with that vision statement, explain to me why it's so important to be in our vision statement when it's internally and not. And the only reason I'm asking that, is because it'll make it more lengthy. I don't really mind, okay? I don't really mind.
It'll make it more lengthy. It also won't flow as well in relation to the vision statement if you add on the Carnarvon Ranges.
And that's why, but I don't want to do something that is totally opposed. And this isn't only an amendment that I'm putting forward. So, but I just want to explain. I just want.
Yeah, I understand where you come. It's a successful, and that's been named for that region. I think Am I wrong? I thought we did a bit of this on at the brief there previously.
Well, we did
about
do
the
a
wording.
briefing. The
On the wording on that particular wording. I thought just about, we played with that wording a bit. We changed it. I think Tony took it away and changed it there. And as part of that discussion it was about, well, this is our vision. This is not to replace a marketing tool for that. It's just our vision in setting there. But we did talk of a lot of the feedback from the tourism industries was around the Carnarvon as well too. So I thought it was important to include that. So for the Maranoa Regional Council, this is our vision. But as you said, it's pretty important. There is a successful marketing tool there with the edge of the outback. But this was just our vision, though. But it did come strongly through there about the Carnarvon Gorge, though.
Yeah, but the other bits of clarity, and we've gone a bit free here with our debate because we've got amendment, but the discussion was because it was Queensland Outback. And I suggested Outback Queensland because we talk about the Outback, and I see how you frame that to not say the Outback, but it's still on the edge of Outback Queensland. I get how the language is.
Yeah.
So you've got a
Well, I'm
mover
just
of
wondering,
amendment.
are you putting Carnarvon Ranges on that or not?
The country meets the outback. Yeah, it just doesn't fly.
Doesn't fly.
It doesn't
I know.
worry.
So,
Councillor Vincent, are you happy with that amendment? No. No.
To seek a seconder.
Do you have a seconder? Okay, someone want to second it? No, so it doesn't go anywhere? So
Lapses.
we're back to the original. Does anyone else have any questions? Would you like to speak, councillor?
I've spoken.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you did a good
You
job.
get another crack?
Thank you very much. Well, I would just like to say thank you too, because I know where you went around the whole Maranoa, and I just think, and it's an amazing job that Councillor Vincent stuck with you the whole way, as far as I know. So congratulations to you too. It's a job well done. So on that note, we'll go. Sorry.
There may be others in the room that would like to speak as well.
I usually get to speak last, so I just assumed that it all happened after you.
Did you?
yeah, I'm happy to speak, but
Yep.
I'm happy to take my turn.
Yep. You go.
Thank you, Mayor. I am happy with the strategy. Congratulations to the team. I, as you would recall in the briefing, I'm very supportive of the vision. I said it was a great vision at the time when we had that conversation. But I thought it was worth to bring to the table the conversation with some feedback from a community group that made a good point. And so I actually did think that was worthwhile to have a conversation around this table to show that when we go out and we ask community groups for feedback, we actually take it serious and we actually make a decision based on that as well as you know, our opinions around the table. So that is why I moved that today. I am going to support the strategy. I think it's a great strategy, and it's a long-awaited strategy. Councillor Vincent has been. She put this forward when she first got elected on council, and so I just want to congratulate Councillor Vincent for leading that with the portfolio, and a big congratulations to Tony and Georgia. Big effort, went right around the region, met with all the stakeholders involved. I know you've worked really hard at getting this document, and congratulations, you have it on one page and it looks great, and I think it's something that we can really work with in our community. So very happy to support the Maranoa Visitor Economy strategy today.
Thank you. Councillor O'Neill.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I'm supportive of this as well. I nearly seconded that amendment, but the thing that stopped me was because I like Outback Queensland, but dropping the Carnarvon Ranges would have been a massive hit to the overall positioning of us geographically in terms of a visitor economy strategy. It doesn't highlight the Carnarvon Gorge. It talks about the ranges, which we've got a lot in the Maranoa, and I think it's really important. And now geographically, we're talking about the outback. We are the outback. We are the country, but we are on the foothills of the Carnarvon Ranges too. And I think we really do need to lean on our assets in this strategy. So all credit to the team behind it. I know these things aren't easy because you get pulled and prodded in all different directions, and that's just from councils, let alone from stakeholders. I actually don't think 2 years is a long time to get a strategy up and going. It's frustrating while you're doing it, but Councillor Vincent, to have this within just over the 2 year mark of a 4 year term, I think that's an achievement that we should acknowledge. And this will set our tourism strategy up for the future, and I'm really excited by it. And there's been a lot of buy-in from council and councillors, but also stakeholders. And I know, Councillor Vincent, you attended nearly all, if not all, of the engagements. I didn't get to too many, but I got to one here in Roma, and I saw the passion coming from a very small group of people that are just as passionate as Councillor Vincent and Georgia and Tony are in terms of our tourism and visitor economy going forward. So all credit to you. I'm really excited by this, and hopefully we can turn this into tangible outcomes for our business communities, but also use it as a tool to put in front of Minister Powell to see more investment coming from a state perspective into the Maranoa.
Councillor Vincent.
Just to close out, just thank you. And just to touch on Councillor Hancock's comments, I too did not brush Kat's comments away. I had earlier communications with the team after we got that feedback, and used my very limited tech skills yesterday to run a few scenarios through ChatGPT to see if I too could come up with some short words. But I just think the vision is so succinct and covers our geographical location really, really well. So look forward to the action plans coming out of this if it's adopted today. Here's to tourism in our region.
Thank you. On that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? Where did Councillor Flynn go?
He's
Yeah, the conflict.
Conflict in the left room.
Oh, that's good. 8-0. I thought I just lost him. Did you say lunch was there or not? Oh, we'll close the meeting for lunch at 11.
Adjourn the meeting.
Adjourn the meeting at 12:51, and we'll be back at 1:30. The meeting at 1:22, and just acknowledge that Councillor Seawright's just had to leave the meeting for a little bit. He'll be back. 13.2 Part 2. Do I have a mover? Councillor Hancock.
I move. Sorry, Mayor, I'm trying to prove. Right. I move that council approve the following funding options from GL 2887.2251.2001 as part of round 2 of the Events Assistance Program. I had my own words here.
Conflict on?
No, not this one. This is the second part, isn't it?
As part of the Events Assistance Policy, I allocate $1,000 to Begonia Golf and Sports Club for an art workshop. B, allocate $500 for volunteer initiatives to each of the following community groups to acknowledge their communities volunteers as part of the National Volunteer Week 2026. Noongar Community Association Inc., Jackson QCWA, Begonia Golf and Sports Club, Tilbar Gun Club, Dunkeld Golf Club, Mungalala Progress and Sporting Association, Amby QCWA, Muckadilla Progress Association, Hodson's Memorial Hall and Recreation Association, Yumamaran Recreation Association, Bimac Community Recreation Association, Ruffley Community Centre. 3, authorise the Mayor to write to the groups regarding this initiative.
Is that the second?
Thank you, Councillor Vincent.
Noongar was number 1.
Oh, Councillor Vincent, happy to second that. Anyone got questions? Councillor
I
Davis.
do, just because I didn't because it's been split. How does this process work in the background? Are we saying volunteer initiatives, can they look different for each community group? And are we going and saying are we writing to those community groups? So what is a volunteer initiative under your motion? or an example?
So a volunteer initiative under this would be they can either hold an event to encourage volunteering or to celebrate volunteering.
Or to thank volunteers.
Or to thank volunteers. They could, maybe there is something in their community. It's not just about that group. That's why the recommendation is it's about these community groups for volunteering in the whole community. It's not just about stuff for that group. And so it's more about that initiative that they can come up with a volunteer initiative themselves. We're not telling them exactly what they have to do, but it's an initiative and it's tied to volunteering. And I'm happy to speak to it, Mayor, how this come about, if that helps.
I'm happy with what it is. I just want it. So it could be that a community group needs a photocopier. That could be a volunteer initiative under what it is up here.
Yeah.
I'm just asking just for clarification.
Well, in my mind, and this is an example from when we were out and about, Dunkel wanted to do a 5-year plan. For me, that's a volunteer. If they needed somebody to come in and assist them to write that 5-year plan, I would feel that this would be not enough maybe, but it may assist them to get somebody in to help write that plan, and that would assist those volunteers if that's what they felt that was most needed in their community.
Or they might feel that, there's a drought on where they are and their men that might need a steak sandwich and a beer. Let's get them all together and just have a community event where we just sit back, relax, and we know that the money hasn't come out of something we've worked really hard for.
Yeah, I think it's got to be more a generic thing, like the Mayor just mentioned, that everyone's not, favoured over another community group, and there's more than one group. I think if it's a thank you to all involved and they're all invited along, and just similar to what we've just done across the major regions.
You're not happy with that, Councillor?
I don't know I just find it really hard because we just went and did volunteer initiatives, and yes, I agree
But
that
we didn't go
when
to-
there is a drought on and
we didn't go to them.
No, I agree. So it should be a volunteer. We held a volunteer thank you.
Yeah.
Why couldn't this be a $500 volunteer thank you than a untied funding?
I agree.
Well, can I speak to it then?
Yeah.
So the background behind this, this is a once-off initiative because we acknowledge that this isn't a normal thing that would come, a normal initiative that might come to the table via our events grant policy, which is why it's separated off, right? Because it's not necessarily that. What happened was our events policy budget has been underspent because simply we didn't get the amount of applications in the last round. So there is some funding sitting in the bucket. And it was just on the back that we are going around the regions for volunteering, but we're not reaching out to those smaller communities. And so Councillor Vincent and I were having a chat about, what could we do to make those smaller communities feel some love. And so the intention behind this was to be able to share some savings, I suppose, that we have already in budgets, and we're not asking for more money, and to be able to acknowledge that there is some great volunteering that also goes out into our smaller regions. It was also off the back of going around to these regions as our pre-budget events, and hearing from some of those smaller communities, sometimes some of their struggles that they might have, but also some of the amazing volunteer work that's getting done in those communities with such little numbers, little amount of volunteers. And so the intention really is about giving them some money to acknowledge what they do for their communities when it comes to volunteers, and to make it a little bit easier on them. Because they don't have access to the big towns. They don't have access to stuff that we might take for granted in our when we live in these bigger towns, and so that volunteering is that little bit harder in those smaller communities. I acknowledge that we have said initiative because in some areas, yes, could have been multiple groups, and we understand that is the case. But we're picking a community association so that it's not necessarily about their association, and it's about an initiative that can make volunteering in their region, in their little community, easier on their volunteers. For an example of that, yes, they might want a beer and a barbecue event and thank their volunteers. But the other option is, we heard from Little Tilbar that rubbish is affecting their volunteering group. They might just need some more wheelie bins. They might put it towards a trailer that'll make it much easier for their volunteers to be able to get their rubbish away. Like we don't pretend to sit here and know what is the initiative that they might have that would make volunteering in their region easier on more than just their community group. We're actually going to ask them to look across their little community and what would be an initiative that might make volunteering easier. So that's the intention of that, recognising it is coming, from the side councillors, and we just thought it would be a gesture that would be a good initiative to be able to use. Not all the leftover budget. It's only $6,000. It's $6,000, and we're spreading that right across the region where, quite often we put that into one community group. So that is the base of this section of it. The other one, just so I'm speaking towards it, is the point A, allocating $1,000 to Begonia Golf and Sports Club for their art workshop. Just want to clarify, yes, that could have been an RDF grant. Yes, it can be an events grant. We left it in the events grant because it was more focused on the event itself, and that's actually getting the ladies off the farm to come in and meet together to give them opportunity to get off the farm and socialise and speak with their neighbours. Bear in mind their neighbours are a longer distance out there. And so we felt that does sit as part of this events because it's actually not so much the workshop that was the focus on, it's actually the event itself. And so that's what I'm putting forward today for this resolution.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
Yeah, I'm not voting at the moment, voting for or against, because I see the positives definitely in it all. But the thing that's got me sitting on the fence is because we've just done these other region ones, it could be, we could have the opportunity to get that instead of having a morning tea or a dinner. And I think if we make it a generic, like the rest of the larger centres that, especially in the communities that have got more than one organisation, they can put on a thing for everyone, and it's not discriminating. It's a blanket thank you, like Councillor Davis said, and I think that way it's just no blurred lines. But I do also see that the benefits to a small community group with a trailer or a laptop could be beneficial, but it's probably not seen by other groups the same. So to me, just being fair down the line is the same as the larger centres, and have a thank you function. But yeah, I'll hold my vote until I hear from my learned friends.
I found it was really a big week. It's only Wednesday, and for the ones we've done, let alone add all them to us going to. And you wouldn't have got what we had in Mitchell's the other night for $500.
No.
No. Anyway, anyone else like to speak? Councillor Vincent.
Yeah, after going around the region for our pre-budget workshop, I was once again inspired by these small communities that we've listed here. They're very self-sufficient, they're very forward-looking. They were talking 5-year plans. They've got 50 to 60 members in some of them. If we look to bring those 50 to 60 members out of Begonia into Mitchell, that's another, how many hours? How many hours travel do they have to commit to just be thanked, to be volunteers, on top of the work that they're already doing? They're running everything from tennis comps to playgroups that these bigger centres take for granted because they're right there in their own backyard, where these guys are driving, they're carrying all their own toys, all their own catering and doing all that. We could list exactly what they have to spend their money on. It's just, I just see it as more red tape. We could send the staff out to find out what their initiatives are and then fund those initiatives appropriately. I just think that this is just one way that, and a once-off initiative that we could just thank these small communities for being so self-sufficient. You know, there's major upgrades happening to their hall that they haven't come to council asking for help. So I just ask our fellow councillors to, you know, just on this one-off occasion, there's no extra budget required. We are using existing budget that is not going to get spent in this financial year. That this is one way that we could assist these communities to have either an event for their volunteers. They could come up with an initiative that would help the volunteers, whether it's shared, if there's a couple of groups within that small community that they could use. You know, they could share the wheelie bins, they could, you know, there's different ways that they could come up with it. And after being out there, they've got plans. So I'm sure they would be able to work out a way to try and use this $500 to assist their volunteers in a way that is appropriate for their area.
I agree, they're just remarkable. Councillor O'Neill.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wonder, given the differing views on what is clearly a very positive initiative, that we tailor it so that it isn't about an initiative. It is more specific, that we allocate $500 for a morning tea or lunch or a barbecue get-together where these volunteer groups come together to celebrate what they do for their community. Which is exactly what we've done across the region this week to celebrate our volunteers as part of Volunteers Week. That would get, I think, what I'm hearing, the concerns, would mitigate some of the concerns that have been raised in the debate.
I personally don't think that. I think they should be allowed to do what they want to do with it. Like,
Yeah, but there's not when there's 3 different clubs or 2 different clubs in one town.
I don't
In a
know.
perfect world.
It's just a small initiative. It's just one small thing we can do for little communities. Just let them do what they like with it. I mean, it's no good to give them a lolly and tell them not to eat it. Like,
I understand what Councillor O'Neill's doing. My concern with that is, and thanks for allowing us to just have a bit of open conversation here, Mayor, because I know we're talking small things, but they're little communities, and so this is important. My concern is that, yes, we didn't go out to, and we can't, we just physically can't make it out. I just hate to go, well, we didn't come to you, but here, now hold your own.
yeah, which means they're working again.
You know?
Well, it's not. It could be at their tennis night. They put $500 on the bar because
You just said a morning tea.
or morning tea or barbecue. I said.
Yeah.
Like
I'll get kickback out of it.
The issue that we'll have, right, and I think this is a really good initiative, right? And the sentiment is pure that there are communities that we didn't get to that we want to show our support for what they do. I know there will be groups that we visited over the last 2 days that if they had a choice of $500 to go into their kitty to be able to do something that they want to do, they probably would have opted for that rather than coming and enjoying, which we love their company.
Did you remember what the list was that you all read out?
I know.
How many there
We couldn't
were?
afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
We couldn't afford it.
No.
So if we had this tailored so it was a similar initiative, that it is a financial contribution for people to come together, morning tea, lunch or barbecue, however they want to spend it, but it is to celebrate what they do as volunteers in Volunteer Week. Because that's where you're getting to, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe I've got a suggestion. It might be, I know it is all about the words today, isn't it? Maybe, is it allocate $500 for a thank a volunteer event? It's not about them necessarily having to host an event, although they might, but it's about
allocate $500 for a, I'm trying to get the right words here, but it's more about us saying, here's, you might put some $500 on the bar.
And this
or
would
you
go
might
to a morning tea, lunch or
buy,
dinner? Because it's exactly what we've just done.
allocate
We've had morning tea,
$500
lunch and dinners.
for a, think, volunteer, I don't know. I had it and it was gone.
To make it more personal, if we were to include in the out and about pre-budget to have a double thing to go to, like, might have got more people in for that and plus thank them at the same time.
Allocate $500 for
I
a
don't
volunteer event. For example, morning tea, lunch or dinner.
Thank the volunteers.
Think of the, do we have to put an example there? Can't it be just a volunteer event? Does it have to, it could be whatever they want, Cam.
Yeah, sure.
Could have a fate.
Just not wheelie bins by the sounds of it.
Hey?
It's not wheelie bins.
We've had enough rubbish today.
Sort of volunteer, isn't it?
Okay, $5 for
Thank the volunteers. Thanks, Carl. All right,
that is,
how are we going
maybe
now?
it's- Okay, $500 for a,
So could it be allocate $500 for in inverted commas, thank our volunteers event to each of the following communities? The initiative is a thank our volunteers event, and we're contributing $500, which just could be their Friday night tennis.
Just, yeah. They do it over the bar or barbecue, it's 500 in their budget, they got profit.
$500 for a thank our volunteers.
Who moved that? Councillor?
I think I
Hancock.
did.
Are you happy?
Is that Reed?
Okay.
You're happy? Did you say, sorry? Did you say you're happy?
Yeah.
Councillor Vincent?
I'll get $500 for a thank our volunteers.
Would anyone else like to speak? We're moving on. Let's go to the vote.
You moved it, so you've got to be
You
happy with it.
Are you happy? I thought you said you were happy.
Happy and you know it, raise your hand.
Should the speaking should be thank our volunteers event.
Yeah, maybe move the to thank our volunteers.
Well,
Okay.
apart from that, are you happy?
Should have just sent them a pen.
If you
Okay,
just move
$500.
the speaking marks, the closing one to.
Allocate $500 to each of the following community groups to acknowledge their community volunteers as part of yeah.
That one.
I'm not really happy, but I'm happy. No, I'll talk to it. I'll accept it, May.
You accept it? Councillor Vincent's accept it? Okay. Do you want to speak to it?
Yeah, am I up to that? I know I've spoken
we've
once.
spoken.
I'll let you speak again if you really want to.
Am I?
I said you really have to.
You give to sum up, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You
true.
can, you go.
Anyone else want to speak?
Yeah.
I asked that.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I forgot where we were up to after all that. No, look, I am supportive of the initiative and getting, that, acknowledging those volunteers in those communities and what they do. The other side of me is just the fairness in what we've done and taken around with it. So I'm happy with the way the resolution is now, that it's an event similar to the events that we've held all throughout the region that'll just be replicated in these smaller communities, and thank them for what they do, because as we've heard from all previous councillors, what they do is amazing in those small communities and ask nothing. Hopefully we do see a few applications under our small grant application form that may sort out some of the equipment that was brought up that they could use the initial $500 for. So I'm supportive of this motion.
Thank you. Councillor Burkett.
Ditto what she just said. I think that's, I'm happy with that because it just makes it a level playing field. No one's going to say they got this, they got that. We all got the same sort of scenario, and it takes away the potential internal politics of the town, and I think it's a win-win.
Anyone else? Councillor Brompton.
I've just left it till the end because so many people had so many things to say, and I'm very supportive of the way it's turned out, and I do just want to say that we make sure in the letter we know there are some communities that have more than one group, that we are clearly articulating to that group that we're not favouring them one over another, that we're wanting them to, we needed a group to represent that community that we can give the money to. We want it to open up to the whole community for each of those that are in a small area that has more than one group. It's not that we think that they're doing a better job than anyone else or...
Councillor O'Neill.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I'm supportive of this. Where it's landed, by the sound of it, it'll be a unanimous vote, which is why I spoke up. We have had an amazing couple of days crisscrossing the region to recognise the mountain of hours of volunteer contribution that occurs from some younger members of our community and a lot of older members in our community to make us tick. I applaud this initiative coming to council. It's not asking for more budget. We've heard that. It's an allocation that can be drawn on because it wouldn't be used, and it's just a very small gesture to contribute to some of the organisations that we haven't been able to touch this week, and I think it will be received with a smile. That we have thought about them and the work that they do in some of our very small parts of the region that have just as important, volunteers doing some marvellous things. And so I'm very supportive of this, and I look forward to hearing the feedback from the community groups that receive the money.
Thank you.
So just on that point, how do we acquit it? How do we get that feedback? Do they have to come back with how many people attended, how it was advertised?
That's just another job they'll have
No.
to do.
I don't think we need to add red tape like that.
No.
How do we know?
No acquittal.
They'll probably just write us a thank you letter and tell us all about it.
We could put it in the letter from the Mayor. We'd love to receive a couple of photos of your event.
Whatever that looks like. Councillor Hancock, would you like to sum up?
Thank you. There's a lot of the times we debate the smaller stuff more than we debate the bigger stuff because it's so close to the community, and we're all community members, and whilst I was very happy for it just to be volunteer initiatives, the reason I moved to accept the suggestion is so that we can all be comfortable and happy with this small gesture that we're giving to these smaller community groups. I hope that they'll be able to use this money that might take some for volunteering, but might take some pressure off somewhere else so that they've got some extra money to be able to do what else they have to do to make their life out in these regions a bit easier on their volunteers. I just want to acknowledge that, yes, whilst some of these regions do have more than one group in their community, they're such small regions that those volunteers wear many hats, and they're probably right across that. They're probably putting their hand up right across that region and volunteering in many ways. So I do think that this will hit the mark where it is about thanking them for what they do to help our region, and that they're not forgotten and they are an important part. So I just thank the councillors for going with this process today. This is a once-off initiative just because we have that budget there, and we do want to acknowledge it. I want to thank our staff. I know that this is against policy, and they're a bit concerned about our recommendation, and we did take that on. We did consider that, but I think this is worth the risk to say thank you to those people in our community.
Thank you. On that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Is there any need to go into close? Anyone have anything? No? Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
LC1, Project Management and Support Services, Events 17 and 18, Disaster Recovery Funding Arrangements. Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move that Council 1 appoints Lonigan Project Services Proprietary Limited, ABN 36141.
Sorry, Mayor. Should we be getting Councillor Seawright back or?
No, he's
not
he's
here.
away.
He's not here.
He's not here, he didn't step out for the conflict.
Oh, sorry.
Unless you've seen
He
him.
is in the hallway.
We should.
Oh, he just messaged me that he was getting me car to go somewhere.
My apologies, he's gone. He was sitting in the hallway.
No, he's got to go to a service.
Sorry, councillors.
No, it's all good. 1, appoints Lonigan Project Services Proprietary Limited, ABN 36141025701, under local by arrangement LB 505 as a preferred tenderer to provide specialist project management services and support for the delivery of the Event 17 and Event 18 Disaster Recovery Funding Arrangements Program. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate within the approved budget to negotiate and, if acceptable terms are reached, execute the contract documents and notify all tenderers of the outcome.
Have a seconder, Councillor Davis. Anyone got any questions? Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Oh, just to say, this is a process that we've got to follow with the allocation of the flood recovery program. And these guys we've had for I don't know how many years, numerous amount of years, and they do a great job. And we definitely don't want to bite the hand that feeds us. So they do a wonderful job, and our men follow it to the T. So it's a very good program.
Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Nobody's got anything else? I'll close the meeting at 1:51 and thank you for your attendance.